season 3. Going to be starting in 3rd. Ross Tatum, known to be quick at these flatter tracks. 21's going to be in 4th. Jay Becker, one of the best qualifying runs the 10's had all season long. Going to be in 5th position. Andrew Medlin.
All right, so 85-degree air and what?
A couple of weeks. Going to be in
123-degree track.
In 9th.
Jeez.
It's going to be in
a little hot
position.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Holy cow.
Campbell will roll off 13th with Will Bustler in 14th. Rob Sherwood will start 15th.
Jeez.
Travis start in 16th. Christopher Wade in 17th.
Just wanted to
in 18th. Christopher
be challenging.
David McConnell will start 20th.
21st goes to Ryan Lynch that we got to see put down there last time. At the end, 22nd goes to 6 of Jonathan Bird. The 2 machine of Jonathan Woods going to be taking 23rd position. Sam Siegel in 24th. Bill Chavez in the 101.
Not really sure how this race is going to go. I'm really good at short run speed, but I haven't done anything over 20 laps. So
finishing out our top 30.
we're going to see how this goes.
Getting a little tickle in my throat. I don't know where it's coming from.
For Melton in 32nd. Brian Wilson will start in 33rd.
All right.
Well penalty.
Switch that up.
Start at the back. Curtis Valechka will start in 34th, and Peter Dillon will round out our 35 drivers here tonight.
35 drivers, and kind of surprised on some of the drivers starting deeper in the field. Cedric Hunter missing out on qualifying, was having some slight issues. Will be the first driver that did not put a time in. Zach Hall also deciding not to put a time in. Very surprised by the 32.
Did he choose an outside line?
Practice.
I guess so. I had it muted when he was talking.
Last season champion. Might have a rough day today as drivers pull off.
Why is he choosing outside?
And getting warmed up for tonight's race. 165 laps is going to be the
maybe keep you pinched down
for tonight's New Hampshire. Butt kicker 175.
I'm driving my line. I don't know what he's doing.
For these drivers, no 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. Got a feeling, Trevor, those tires could be used up quite a bit here this evening.
Yeah, I think tires are going to be really important along with the track position.
I hope he knows I'm one lane up.
Going to be feeling pretty good. Same about.
Thank you, Derek.
We'll find out soon enough.
Going to be the guys in the back that we have to keep our eyes on to try to work their way up.
God, the stutters are horrible.
Their way forward. Those great finishes.
Good luck, sir. Let's go.
Will it be Brian McCann, Cameron Sark going to be starting on the outside?
Nice.
24, open for a great launch. Pace car pulls up, and it's time for green flag action. The butt kicker 175 is underway. Cameron Sarton, Brian McCann.
You could not have timed that any better.
Still side by side.
It was a really good start there from Brian McCann on that inside.
Pulling up right rear.
It'll still be side by side.
Still there.
With that of the 24, Cameron starting that
door.
2 has a little bit of advantage, but I think starting to start to come back on him.
Falling back. You're clear. Clear up.
Staying pretty well clear of everybody.
Good job, Brian.
Medlin goes to battle with Nick Holland for 4th and 5th.
Going to be battling behind, but Brian McCann exit at turn number 4, leads lap number 1, goes to the 8 machine, leading so many laps this season and hoping to continue.
Thank you. But look how slow he's going. I think I'm just burning my tires.
Drivers in these
yeah, I mean, you can always roll it a little bit more. I'll check in with him right now, see if he's see if he's doing anything different.
Cameron Sarton. And the driver that got the pole, Nick Holland, didn't even lead a lap for that race. So if Cameron Sarton wants to break that curse, he's going to have
Hold on, Derek.
forward and lead a lap if you can. Exit out of 4, still up front.
Yeah, McCain just had a really good start there and was able to get clear.
45 stage,
a little bit of a
165 overall.
He's 3/4 way through that last turn before he got on the gas.
Didn't look like it quite worked out for him, but
I don't think we got to worry about fuel.
all single filed out as we get the Brian McCain cam here, and even going down the straightaway, Sam putting a little bit of wheel work into that machine.
Certainly.
I mean, it's driving fine, but
yeah.
So he is diamond, all right.
Yep. Yeah, he's getting his lefts on the yellow coming off that corner.
As the 8 machines.
So up high, yep, turning down low, getting back on the gas. Yeah, he's diamonding out the corners. He's not shifting yet.
It's right on the roof cam of the leader. Talking about how you have to be easy up on the exit. Keep the speed and momentum, but you don't want to overuse those rear tires.
No, it's really easy to just try to get into the throttle as soon as possible, getting up off the corner. Really easy to drift up into the outside wall by carrying too much speed, or just spin it out if you get too greedy with the throttle. But Dan did a really good job looking really smooth here in these opening laps.
Very smooth indeed. And talking about the different lanes you can utilize, staying up full lane off that yellow line seems to be the comfort zone for this 8 machine. Other drivers running pretty similar positions. Others running about a groove higher. Some trying to go even lower off the exit of the corner. So we see how the drivers are going to be developing throughout tonight's race as we look back at the drive.
I mean, hell, if they come back around, they come back around. But I got to drive like this right now.
Side-by-side driving's going on. That 5 Dart trying to scoot his way forward away from Kent Campbell and Dalton Alexander.
And trying to work his way up through the field and see if he can move up a little bit, but it's going to be Alex.
I'll make adjustments at the later stage of the race if I need to.
I bet you'd like to have that restart back.
Going to battle with that 37 machine, and Alexander trying to hold him off, but it looks like Campbell has the advantage here down the back.
Or not restart, but start back.
Green 4 and almost thought about, looked like he was going to think about making a move to the inside of John Dart there in the 5, and it's going to have to fall in line. Here's the 37 coming out of turn number 4.
Thought about it for the exit of the corner. John Dart almost destroying the outside wall for the 5 machine. Try to be careful. The exit of the corner be very treacherous if you're not careful. It's a little bit over a mile of course. It is so tricky at times when you're trying to get the exit of the corners. Find where the max rotation is. Right now, Kent Campbell can still move his way forward up 2 spots. And tied with some of the biggest movers of the day. We got a couple of drivers up 2 positions. Not a lot of movement.
You are the fastest car on the track.
For 7 laps.
I'm a little bit surprised.
By almost 2/10 over at least Sarton.
Stepped up on top of him. But on
3/10 over P3.
Taking it a little bit.
And half second over P6.
Seen in the last couple of weeks.
Do they know?
The first couple, the early parts of the run, we've seen a couple of big wrecks. So these guys maybe.
I don't know, because I'm still pulling away from them.
Yeah, you are.
Gentle and see some drivers that are known to being up front, or at least inside of our.
Your best is a 3104, his a 3116, 3126, 34, 37, 30. So you're a good 3/10 faster than most of the field, if not more.
Texas
and that's counting best laps.
Field, and they qualified pretty close as a group, but
your last lap was a 61, seconds is a 94.
Or do you be more aggressive in these first 15 laps? And it looks like majority of the field.
So just do your thing, just race management. If you find yourself running away, start backing down the corners a little bit, try to save a little bit, just in case that's what they're trying. But he's still not shifting.
Where he qualified, right front.
1.3 back to P2.
Positions. Cole Sacchetti really on the move.
Yeah, not surprised to see Cole be aggressive. It kind of seems to be his go-to this season is be aggressive.
Hey, Brandon, how's it going?
Down as the run progresses, and
yeah, I just now lower my brake bias.
It worked out well for him last week at Homestead there for a little while until Cameron Sarton finally was able to get up there and do battle with those guys. But right now, up a couple spots and trying to run down that 12 Andrew Medlin.
Medlin, another driver that's up a couple of spots, up 2 from where he qualified.
Shoot, I'm just out here cruising. I just feel like they're going to come back around me in 20 laps, so I'm all worried about it.
To make even more passes, trying to keep with the pace of Cole Sacchetti, who's been making passes forward. It's 15, better exit.
Cameron Sarton, he's a flat track hero,
in the
and
with that pass, putting that down.
He's got to know something that I don't.
That's where you want to be at the end of our stage break, end of lap 45. Yellow flag will be.
Shoot, I ain't the best at flat track. Kevin gets in here and whoops my ass every time.
First place get 10 bonus points, and second gets 9. It continues to dwindle down a point per position. They'll get 10th place, but there's just 1 bonus point to be grabbed, but very crucial bonus point. The way that everything is starting to look at the bubble position of our points.
All right, here you're starting to shift.
Every point.
He has not shifted behind you yet.
Forward to get to
I don't think it was any faster.
You want every little bit that you can get. Campbell right now sitting in that pretty spot. But there's plenty of drivers behind him. I mean, Jacob Grant sitting there. Brent, Travis Dart back there. All drivers that are going to want these stage points, especially for somebody like Tony Grant, who already has a win. More stage points for him could be crucial in those first couple of races in the playoffs.
Could be massive to gain for himself as the field 13 laps in of 165 against State Creek at the end of lap 45. So it's starting to chip away, inching closer and closer to that halfway marker for these drivers. And, we're seeing a lot of single file racing. It's seeing the 15 kind of initiating a lot of the passes up front as he's trying to make his way to catch up to Cole Sacchetti. But Kent Campbell qualified 13th, and obviously based off the pace we're seeing right now, felt like he was much faster than where he qualified.
Yeah, I mean, definitely looks like he's a lot faster than these guys. And taking a little interesting approach to it. Really dives in and then kind of drifts up to the door of the car on his outside and kind of keeps him from pinching him down to the bottom. He's right in front of him. Brandon Cawley going to It's a battle there with the 10 of Jay Becker. He's going to get that position cleared, and it's going to allow Cam to kind of use
little over a tenth faster than P2 there.
Up there,
almost 3/10 faster than P3.
Greg Valley, 9 machine, trying to stay inside of the top 10, looking for his third top 10 finish of the season. His other top 10 finishes was a 7th at Michigan, and last week 9th at Homestead. Find that good rhythm, trying to get back into a fight for a playoff berth. Might have to be a win to get into this fight. As you see other drivers on the charge, 19 Jake Grant, kind of starting to see this train building up of drivers trying to pick and choose how to make these passes. If you're being a little bit passive, but letting the race come to you, or maybe you were too aggressive in the beginning runs, 16 laps in, we've seen a little bit of that swinging on the pendulum of who was waiting for this middle to end of this run that we're in for.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, really interesting to see how the run progresses and how these drivers are going to attack it. New Hampshire, really one of those tracks that getting passes done can be a little bit difficult to do. I mean, King Campbell's definitely making it look a little bit easy.
Lowest speed through the middle of that corner was right around 88.
Passes hard to get done, especially on that inside line, with the ability of the outside driver to pinch you in. And so we'll just wait and see. Maybe the tire wear is going to kick in and make things a little bit easier. But Cole Eddie here trying to hold off Andrew Medlin and Nick Holland by
86 for just a moment through there.
He's the 42 machine, and Andrew Medlin trying to hold back Nick Holland. Holland known to be fast here at New Hampshire based on the past stats, and trying to continue to stay close to the top 5. Battle is the 13. Andrew Medlin, though, having a solid season so far for himself, not worrying about points too much, is coming into tonight 8th in points, plus 27 over the cut line. Trying to just have consistent, good runs, stay ahead. Like to cut for Altus.
Still no shifting for him.
This run could be putting him even closer to that cutoff marker, which right now that bubble driver would be Brian L. Wilson, all the way down deep in the field in 30th position. So no bonus point to be grabbed as Nick Holland, a bad exit out of 4.
Yeah, Holland there with bad exit, going to back up a little bit from this battle, but Cole Eddie trying to do a recovery run after a bad couple of weeks that he had prior to that Homestead race where he got caught up in some incidents. So definitely trying to get closer to that cutoff line with Wilson having the end of the line penalty at the beginning of this race and looking like he's going to be in for a long day. This could be huge for that 42 machine if he can get good stage points here and a good finish.
There was also talk about Chris Stitz not being here tonight. How's that going to influence the points moving forward? As talking about moving forward,
his lap time was just about the same as yours last lap.
He gave up some spots, and now able to make the pass by Christopher Wade, moving up 1 position from where he qualified. And those small little moments of chipping forward or 20 laps into the run, as again, stage break at the end of lap 45. So the drivers still have plenty of racing to put down, but track position, Trevor, this might be the best time if you're deeper in the field. Just grab what you can.
Yeah, grab what you can. Hopefully you saved a little bit of tires in the beginning, like Christopher Norris, like you giving up a couple positions.
It's a bad corner
for him to get those back as he tries to go chase down.
He really fought the exit there.
Altus in front of him. I think Will Bustler up there in the 1, but it's gonna be interesting. If he can get up there and get that done, Sam, or if this
is he tight or loose?
As they come back,
he's loose.
Hell, I'm tight as hell.
So Rob Sherwood.
Yeah, he's sawing on it coming up.
Sherwood and Altus trying to get by Will Bustler as best they can, and Sherwood in the 22. I was expecting a lot here tonight.
10th faster that lap.
Led the second most laps 2 seasons ago, and now the 22 finds himself mired in 16th position.
He's trying to get the left side down on the yellow line and stab the throttle. And by doing that, he's putting a whole. I mean, right now he's at 9.5 through the center. I mean, he's putting a whole lot of wheel into it.
Over aggressive at points this season, been caught up in some
yellow as in yellow
this season as well. So
yep, down on the yellow line, trying to get the left sides to hook.
As it comes, tries to find a way around this corner. Will Bustler, you can just see gets a little bit better of a drive off the corner.
That's too far.
But there's not enough.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to take a dive here into 1 and 2. Try to get this pass done, but just thinks better of it and continues to fall in line.
Falls in line, but at least still trying to move forward. And they're trying to catch up to the driver of Travis Start from Brent. Closing it in on the
outside.
Checks the speed driver of Dalton Alexander.
Right there, clear.
Known for being fast in the 37 machine, but
That brake bars in a straight line ain't fun.
This Daytona win to start the season off in incredible fashion. Kind of had a rough couple of races, but 28's been finding that new groove now as we're up the regular season.
All right, we're good.
Time to start finding that groove either. There's almost a little bit.
Hold on.
Between Sherwood and Bustler.
Had to apply a little additional brake on that one.
Yeah, for Brent.
Yeah, he's
catching me a little bit.
27. Well, you just had that little bit of a hiccup there.
The playoffs.
And he just had a little bit of an issue getting past the 2.7 also.
10 finishes the last couple of weeks, side by side. Rob Sherwood.
He was 0.2 faster that lap.
Get by the one machine. Will Bustler has to just let the reins drive on by, and as this group's been battling back and forth, it's now giving Christopher Norris a chance. 38's now into the pack, and based off the last couple of laps, Christopher Norris has been either 2 to 3 tenths faster than this three pair, and here we go. 38's trying to make the pass very aggressive on the side.
I'm glad he pulled over because I don't think I could have stopped.
Right on the back bumper, Will Bustler.
Bustler getting good shots out the mirror, and it all kind of started with Bustler and Sherwood. And the slide job by Robert Sherwood in the 1-2 that kind of got this whole group checked up.
Old Sachette in P4 right now. He's up 4 spots.
Had to get checked up.
His last lap was a 32.59, 10th and a half faster than everybody.
That 94 machine is going to get that done here. I mean, they get to turn number 2.
Sarton's coming back around me.
It's possible. 20 laps to go before the stage is over. And Brian McCann still leading the way as Christopher Norris sets that pass up and now aims to run down the one of Will Bustler. And the gap for the lead, at one moment, it was over a full second. It is now dropped to 0.8 seconds as Cameron Sarton is trying to close in the gap to the 8 of Brian McCann. And top 2 stay in the top 2. It's now in the 3rd. Ross Tatum, 4th, Skolsketty.
Go ahead and pull out the secret weapon.
They haven't really gained anything on our top 2 drivers.
All right, buddy.
Have already caught up to lap traffic. They're trying to still make their...
He still isn't shifting.
Yeah, caught up to the 44 there. Curtis Volechko put him 1 lap down, and kind of a similar situation to what it felt like last week there, Sam, with Cameron Sarton on this long run. Just lets everybody kind of drive out at their own little pace and slowly starts to reel them back in. But moving further on back through the field here, Zach Hall in the 32 didn't put in a qualifying lap here tonight, but up 8 spots from where he started, up to 22nd position, trying to run down the 53 there, Christopher Wade.
Yeah, Zach Hall looks at didn't qualify, decided to miss out on it.
Back to the fastest man in town.
Mover so far of the race, and it's not even close. Next closest driver is 4 positions difference, which is Ken Campbell, his teammate in 8th place, up 4 spots for himself. But back half of the field, certainly putting on a show as Alex Jones talk about drivers maybe using that yellow line or maybe even the apron. Well, that's what the 45 is doing in front of them. 7-7 William Duff getting very overzealous off the exit of the corner.
Duff was a little bit overzealous, but I mean, hey, Alex Jones using that apron, and that's part of the track that we've seen.
10th faster than P2.
Other cars and in other leagues.
10th plus faster than P3. Cole is back to a 32.75, so you're right back where you were, sir.
Try to get around
1.2 over the field.
And Alex Jones, who's had some pretty decent runs the last couple of weeks of being set up our top 15 here tonight. The drivers decided that they did not have the best qualifying time that they were hoping for. Slowest of everyone that put a qualifying time in, and seeing those hands, trying to hold steady, stay.
All right, he's starting to shift.
But also has to be careful off the exit of the corner. Almost ran into the 9.
Caution's out.
Wilson is trying to get a recovery run of minimize.
Jacob Grant had a little bit of an issue in the back.
Flag waves, and it's massive.
How you feeling?
Calamity on the front stretch as plenty.
Pretty good. I just hope it ain't like a false filling and they...
Grant, Tony.
I don't know. I'm still worried about it, even though I'm leading by more than a second.
And in a blink of an eye, this race went from...
You get tires here or not?
...to utter madness between the lead lap driver making contact on the front stretch.
I think I would.
What was that? You have to go back and see what happened there, but I mean, what was a good night going for Tony Brown?
It'd be interesting to see what your wear is like.
He was building up, and it looks like his night's going to be done early here.
To know if you were running too hard right there or running just right.
John Dart, and then the 19 puts him up into the outside wall, and it looks like Tony Britton's just going to have nowhere to go in this.
4 over the wall.
Well, it's Peter Dillon in the 27 lap down car.
Will that work out for the race?
Heavy contact for Brent down into the inside wall. He'll bounce.
You'll probably go back green at lap 35 out of 165, so you're talking about 40 laps per stint, depending on what caution is.
Sliding across the front stretch.
He was coming into. There you go.
Come to a halt to make sure that they've got plenty of space. No longer.
I wasn't, but when he did, I did.
A very odd situation and timing to have a wreck. And the driver's caught up with required damage, going to beat Christopher Norris in the 38 to 28. Tony Bratton. See there, Peter Dillon trying to stay off the outside wall.
There you go, bud.
Breaks it to the inside. Just a little bit of issue, and Norris causing the 28 to go flipping there. And with Dillon, Brett, Norris, all with prior damage flags, their races might be done.
Good watch.
A bizarre, but a situation that can happen here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you're catching lap traffic and.
All right, so looks like
catching them out.
The top 7 stayed out.
Kind of probably the worst place here in New Hampshire that you want to catch somebody is that you're trying and they're trying to stay off the wall, and kind of one of those situations where they meet in the middle, but
might be some passing on that yellow line.
There's been a whole lot more cars involved in that.
Let's see.
Those 3 cars.
I think the big thing they can bless it on was the fact that we had a long green flag run that allowed everyone to be spaced out, so they had time to react. If you were further away, if you were close in the action, you really didn't have the time.
Inside, give me outside. Oh, I got outside.
Now puts us in a tricky spot as drivers have made the decisions for
Ross Tatum's flyer lap was a 31.26.
They're taking 4.
Dalton Alexander's 31.53.
Zach Hall, though, taking track position, both taking 2 tires for them.
And with 34 lap old tires,
also,
they're going to be slow.
Sherwood up to 15th now for the.
I would imagine might even have to watch for a little tire spin on the restart.
2 tires. I think the 4 tires.
This throws the rest of the race off because we're not going to pit on stage, right?
Overall. But not a bad decision, especially where Zach.
No, you definitely wouldn't pit on stage.
In the pack to get a little bit of track position.
I mean, definitely not for
but
tires.
The good news is
we're gonna do Sam on these older tires against.
Go ahead.
There's 30. There's what 30.
Hold off a defense.
3 cars left out on track, and only the top 7 stayed out. So if they've got to come through the field after pitting during the stage,
this race is
they're gonna be bogged down in traffic for quite a while.
Do a caution fast so you can keep.
The worst thing here is if they wreck and I get caught in it.
From here to the end of the stage, at the end of lap 40.
True story.
What was that?
We are expecting.
That's why I'm saying we may have to watch for tire spin.
As the tire wear difference is going to be massive here to watch out for. But with the 7 drivers decided to stay out, one of them very happy.
I hate this part in the race.
Who missed out on qualifying was trying to get some in situations fixed before.
Switch over my view.
So missed out on qualifying. The 7 actually had to start on pit road. Missed out on the starting grid. And now,
yeah, man.
Up front, top.
I don't know any of these guys. I don't know if they're fast, slow, what.
We're gonna have a 10-lap shootout of who's going to be getting bonus points. Top 10 drivers.
Yeah, strap in. We're
staying out to grab a point, trying to do something for the stage.
Will be thrown.
Time to go.
We're racing here at lap 35.
We get to lap 40, and between lap 40 and 45, there's caution between those laps.
I just hope we make this first turn.
All right, pace car's off.
Drivers are stacked. They're ready to get rolling. It's Ross Tatum.
Go.
Driver, and then having Dalton Alexander, Christopher Wade, Brian Lynch.
You're clear inside.
5, ready for the green
2-4 inside now.
Zone, and here we go. Back to green flag action. Free by kicker, 175.
3 wide. You're in the middle.
Start there.
77, clear outside.
Further in the back of the field, starting to fan out a little bit as there was a checkup about halfway through.
We're going.
Guys on all tires trying to get up through the gears, but Ross.
11 left rear, clear.
Dalton Alexander comes under pressure from the 53.
Way to make that outside line move.
Halfway down the back straightaway, but it's going to be good tires.
Clear 3 inside. Now you got 1 more. That outside line absolutely working for you. Up to P3.
1, 2, 3. Make it 4 cars just through 3 and 4.
37 outside. Clear up.
Boy, did I throw that in.
Come out if you were going to keep the track position.
For the 2-1.
I want to lead with a gap, though.
Caution's out.
Wide for most of the.
Caution's going to be out with you in P2.
Tires are just dropping back.
Good.
Man. 3 wide, but
you.
Quick caution. Zach Hall, Travis Dart, stuck.
Get that playoff point.
There's also a secondary spin that brings out a yellow with Colson.
It looked like you came down.
Colson, I think, got in contact with the.
Cameron made it there through. Also, whew. But he's going to have the inside.
And I think the 9th.
When Ross is going to.
Off of turn number.
Sorry, I might hit my button and talk to you. Ross is going to block Cameron, so I should be good here.
With Zach Hall and those guys, but 2 different wrecks here.
Yeah.
in that little span.
Look to be.
I've got your stream up too, just in case I needed to hear something.
Running into Travis start that.
Yeah, sometimes I don't hit my button.
Yellow. And then
Not a problem.
And others after the fact that have their own separate incident. But here's what happened to the 26 down into turn number 1. He's got the 94 trying to push and be aggressive, hoping to keep the momentum. And as they hit the,
It depends which line the 2-1 chooses.
The car wants to push out, and there's the contact spinning out the 26.
I mean, it don't matter. I can pass them on either.
The inside wall.
True.
Not one of the
I'm just thinking about the 2-4.
Instead, we're going to this vehicle as they get rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, yeah.
The fortunate part here about New Hampshire is that inside wall there through turn 1 really doesn't leave you a lot of room for error. And Zach Hall doing the right thing, spinning his car out so he didn't tee.
Did they throw an admin caution to look at the restart?
Unfortunately for Zach,
Let me see.
into that inside wall.
Yes.
And now it gives a chance for drivers coming in.
For real?
You get some damage repaired, as there was a large grouping of drivers that
Rizzo.
get those repairs. If you were caught up in that first
So is this going to be stage here? How?
service done.
What?
And with the timing of this,
I think stage is 45. It's lap 39. Unless do you have they ever extended a caution by like 5 or 6 laps in order to get the stage?
McCann, Cameron Sarton, and others flying through the field.
I was just worried that they admin threw that and then gave Ross the stage, but maybe not. I guess we'll go green, right?
Yeah, I think you're still
Well,
gonna.
we'll see if the lights on the pace car go out this time.
4 wide as the
It's pacing right now to go to 2 to green here.
still continue to fly
Okay.
through the field. Ross Tatum, Dalton Alexander, Chris.
I'm assuming it'll go 2.
Tyler Thomas, those guys as they
Yeah, 2 to green.
through the field, but
Yeah, lights are still on. Yeah.
they've got to make it probably.
So I just got to get my nose out and
Sam,
hang.
Yeah, I think if you're Ross Tatum, Dalton Alexander, Christopher Wade, you might be.
I mean, you got a monster restart to start the race. If you can do that again and keep the 24 pinched behind the 21,
those guys.
you'll be fine.
How they want to react here, but at least they know they've only got a couple of laps they have to worry about. But as we're under our second caution, gives us time to shout out some of the amazing sponsors that help out the.
I'm just glad everybody's looking in their mirrors because, I was coming around the outside and I called people who were trying to go to the wall, but they gave me room.
The drivers that get to race each and every week. Start things off with Butt Kicker. Feel what you've been racing. If you want to experience the ultimate sim racing, remember to grab yourself a butt kicker. Feel what you've been missing instead of just hearing the sound.
Oh, that tire wire is horrible. I don't even want to call it out.
You want to make sure that you're set up for the next race you head towards, which you go to next level racing. Get your next level racing.
All right, so you got the outside.
Cheaper end.
That's where you've made all your passes.
Purchase, or you can get the more expensive.
Because I got grip. I mean, the drop off is insane.
Immersed into the racing action. And once you get your butt kicker, next level racing, some drivers want to become admins or they want to help out with strategies. Well, go to Gersim Studios and get your button box today. Quality build, make sure that you can experience racing the way that you want to. In control through your black box, or if you're also trying to do race control, clearing black flags or giving out yellows, the Gersim Studios button box can help you through it all. And as the drivers are stacked up and ready to go, it's time for us to get ready. Get back to green flag racing. 2 quick cautions as we had the big, we can call it a bigger accident than we were expecting, then a quick one. And now it's time to see how it.
All right, bud, get ready.
To the end of the stage is going to give us. It's going to be a quick shootout on who's going to be inside of our top 10 again.
All right, he had a little bit of spin. Wasn't feeling too good about his launch, so he's inside.
Green once again for the butt kicker. 175.
2-4's following him on your side.
For the 8 and the 24, McCann and Sarton, but Sarton kind of boxed in on that bottom line. Gonna have to go to the outside of the 21 machine of Tatum, but McCann already to the lead, 3 wide behind him with Brandon Colley. Christopher Wade and 3 of Ryan Lynch, and then right behind him, the wreck as Wade gets spun around.
Christopher Wade, Nick Holland going to be involved with that.
Wrecking behind you.
So Brandon Colley down into the.
So far, no caution.
Because that's off the racing surface, we stay green.
We're staying green.
Taking the lead position, Cameron Sarton going to be in second, but a big scare, heavy damage for the 13. See how that's going to be influencing these drivers as a lap goes down. It's now 3 laps to go before the stage is done.
Yeah, an unlucky break for Nick Holland and Manny.
Ready to go? Caution's out. Good job.
And still continues as the guys on older tires continue.
Stage is all you.
Thank you.
13 goes around.
Nick Holland into the outside wall. Travis Dart having contact late. They're even piling in more as McConnell's going to be on the inside. The 9.
Oh, they're still wrecking back there.
And that will be our stage break caution that will settle the storm. And Trevor, this is where things get chaotic because I feel like this type of racing might not be done just yet.
Lane still closed.
I don't think it's going to be done just yet, but I think it's kind of all kicked off just because of the old tires versus new tires and people just trying to get through the field, guys falling back.
The road
And
is now open.
for Nick Holland, I mean, that was a rough last 4 laps for that 13 machine being caught up in 2 different incidents.
Nick Holland, 27th position for himself after the spin finally concluded. Old tires going to be seeing the exit of the corner, trying to make a big move to the outside, but that big move loosened up the rear end. And everyone else scatters to get on by. There's the 4 that
why'd they go in?
Yep.
Late
They did go down pit road.
Just were
Wow.
not able to get full
I'll jump on with him, see if he's taking just fuel.
with that one.
Yeah, nowhere to go for Travis Dart. They're trying to get through it, and McConnell gets clipped, gets into the 9 of Brian Wilson. They both spin, and I think that was about it for cars involved. But I mean, again, just old tires, new
Taking
tires,
rights.
and that's kind of the results that you get. Sam, and looking more and more like
F that. I ain't taking rights after
He's taking 4.
just make it to the end of the race.
3
I mean,
laps.
that's the way short track racing is. You expect the damage to build up. And
Yeah, that makes no sense to me.
Get the damage repaired.
Yeah, that's true, Derek.
How slow they're going, slower
I mean, maybe.
a mile and a half or other mile course. It enables these drivers to take a lot of beating and banging and still stay in the fight. And Zach Hall will get the lucky dog spot. 32 back on the lap, giving us
Cameron there, he was struggling on that little run.
numbers lining up there, and
He was washing out, and that's one thing you just cannot do is wash up the track.
out
Yeah.
shockingly.
Yeah, because all you're doing is scrubbing the tires.
And Tyler Thomas still yet to pit. And I think the reason why might have been a thought of, well, maybe we
I think I know what they're doing wrong, but I don't want to say it.
cross the line at lap 45.
I'd keep it to yourself.
Maybe a
You can go back in the replay later on and
It's pit road.
see if you got it.
Still stays out.
Yeah, interesting call there from the
Steve, just to
37. I think
clarify,
I'm
when
kind of
you
there
get
with
to
you,
the
Sam. Maybe
stage,
just didn't
is
realize that he
when the
needed
points
to
are counted
pit
from that
when
point,
the
or is
pit's
it still at
open,
the
but
completion of 45
maybe that's
under
part of his
caution?
pit strategy, and we're just, he's got a really different pit strategy compared to everybody else. And
That is a
speaking
question
of
for your
different pit
admin.
strategy, man, everybody
Not
from
sure.
Brian McCann all the way down to that of Philip Chavez electing not to pit this time by, and everybody behind them coming in either on that last caution or right there on lap 44.
That's one reason I stayed out.
Thank you.
You know, I stayed out thinking that I would have to cross the line.
Drivers over the radios, they're actually getting clarification on how the stage points were going to be given out. So
Thank you for spying for Cameron,
it was
Derek.
once the completion of lap 44.
Do you actually know him, Derek?
Spot you were in that you were the those points. Why some drivers decided to stay out? That was the reasoning why. While they just were given the information of it was at the time of the yellow because of that
All right, man, we're
5-lap
going
period
next
between
time
lap
by.
40
All right, man,
and
line up on the
45.
Probably should have
row.
taken outside.
Then that would
Maybe not.
as our stage once the yellow is through.
Nah, go inside.
We're inside of our top 10.
I just hate hitting the brake on the inside line. That's a little sketch.
Ryan McCann was in that lead position, so the 8 machine will find himself gladly taking the maximum points. And Dalton
I'm still
Alexander
on old
now in this
tires.
probably the scariest position you could be in, as currently
Dang, he really is. He's on 46 lap old tires on the outside of me
Yeah.
here.
on 45 older tires than
I
every
might see some wrecks here.
and also being around
let's see.
30 lap older tires, the drivers that are directly around this 37.
Yeah, I think Dalton's going to be in a really rough spot here on this restart
ready.
with those old tires. And
The 24 is back in P11.
I believe for not only just tires, but how off the pace he's going to be, but probably for fuel as well in the next 20 laps or so for that 37 machine. But
On
see
you.
how he does here
Good luck.
with this restart as the pace car is getting ready to pull off.
Green, green, green.
These cars pulling up
He jumped, they had to hit the brakes. You got the jump. Go get it.
to get into victory lane as Brian McCann, Dalton Alexander
All right,
jumping
man,
the start
caution is
just a
out,
little
caution is
bit.
out.
McCann was
Line up
playing a
in the
little bit of
bow.
game
Pit
and
Oh
road
boy.
closed.
And
Heads
now we'll
up,
be taking the lead
38
position.
That didn't take long.
Heads up,
Number one.
8
Nope.
Yeah, Alexander.
Did his jump mess that outside lineup, maybe?
Heads up,
I'm
7,
going to
7
imagine.
car.
It's off 77.
Actually back this up a little bit.
With the timing, with everyone expecting to take off, the outside lane reacted when Dalton Alexander took off. The inside lane reacted to those other drivers.
Heads up, 8
The
car.
77 gets ran over on the inside lane as he was waiting for the takeoff position. And we'll bring out a quick yellow before we even made it to turn 1.
Yes, the kind of what happens on these restarts. You get kind of a late or an early jump, and then a late reaction from the leader can cause a lot of checkups. And exactly the cause there of that caution was just drivers trying to anticipate the start there, didn't anticipate it well.
Derek, I feel like this is going to be a late one. That pace car is fast.
And that will be the 77. So a quick just incident involved, out of it. And this will give time for Dalton Alexander coming to pit road or really keep the track position. Those answers.
I don't know, because the caution came from the inside, not the outside, so I don't think he caused that at all.
Some of the booth, as we're past the stage break, we're actually going to take our first commercial break of this evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining with us on your Tuesday night. Watch the Full Send Racing Series. It's the Butt Kicker 175 at New Hampshire, the 7th race of the season. Been a good one so far. Different strategies, lots of wrecks so far. We will be back to give you more action.
Unfortunately for Zach, he just went a lap down.
Car 38. Got the lucky dog. Let him by on the outside.
Lucky dog high. Sorry about that, bud.
Oh, Zach, did you get caught up in it?
Let the 38 car by. Pit road is closed. Past the 28, past the...
Watch the restarts, guys.
150.
Hey, Derek, I'm going to go try to practice at GoPro sometime next few weeks.
And the second place must not.
I just don't know when yet. Do you go any particular days? Or I can send you a direct message and ask you. I've almost got the cart put together.
All right, man, we're going green next time by. All right, man, line up on the inside row.
All right.
Wide behind for pit.
I'll be running my slow motor, though. I won't be running my good motor.
They make it last, bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora's still with a shot here, coming off before. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes. Oh no, the car gets run. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through. So
Like you always do.
just completely demolish one another.
I have no idea how that thing's going to drive.
Trying to be the dealer. Cedric Hunter. He steals it. But he somehow drove it in the corner. They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no, the 4.
All right, bud, on you.
It's in the 28.
Green flag, green flag.
Good jump. All clear.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out for the restart. It's the 37 on the inside lane. Older tires. Rest of the field is already came in pit road. At least served themselves one set of freshies this race. We're back to green flag action as the mayhem up front. Who can survive? It's a new grouping of drivers that are in the lead spot. The middle of the pack, very chaotic. This is around 10th place currently as Cameron Sarton trying to get himself up front.
Yeah, Cameron Sarton, one of the first ones out of the group that came down there at our stage to get fresh tires, trying to work his way up through the field. Is kind of everybody around him on a differing set of strategies. We came in on lap 32 with that first caution, came in dealing with subsequent two cautions that we had, and so drivers on different tire strategies, same trying to work their way up through the field. With Andrew Medlin working his way up to the inside of the 10 of Jay Becker. Look how much wheel he's putting into that 12 machine to get through the corners.
Driver, those who just came into pit road to get surface done for themselves and back in 12th spot. trying to get ahead of Jay Becker, who just topped off on fuel the last time came into pit road. 9 laps ago now, making 10. They crossed the line, and it is locking up on drivers trying to make some big moves. Speaking of big moves, let's go 3 wide. Karen Sard to the inside lane. Rob Sherwood going to be working the outside and step in the middle. And Sam Siegel once again. Still the 55 trying to hold on. You see a driver on the apron. That is going to be the 45 of Alex Jones. Still the only driver risking to go down to the apron.
Hey, go where they're not, trying to make up some track position here. Everybody's kind of stacked on top of one another, trying to work their way out on this restart. So why not use it in available lane for you, trying to work his way forward. But I haven't really seen the game much of an advantage. But hey, give it a shot, and if it's where you're comfortable racing, go ahead and run it.
I mean, you're just testing things out on where you're going to feel the most comfortable for yourself, as out of line before the start finish line. So it's going to be Nick Holland and have to serve a drive-through penalty for the 13. It's 3 wide once again. This time it's Philip Chavez. They're almost 4 wide heading down into the corner. Still battling for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th position. Dalton Alexander being the one driver, oldest tires on track, yet to come into pit road. It's 37, and on the outside lane, gotta be careful in the 8th place position.
Yeah, it's going to be a rolling roadblock essentially for these guys working their way through the field here as they try to get by him on those older tires. 3 wide again, this time with John Dart. Here comes the 10 of Jay Becker.
3 wide, no problem.
Line. And I gotta say, navigated that fairly well, those guys did. But
yeah,
we get a little bit of a shot from Sherwood going through the corner.
Rob Sherwood giving a punch to the 10 machine's rear bumper, but they hold.
You're absolutely pulling away from the
into the braking zone.
the bill pack behind you.
Even with the contact, and Rob Sherwood not giving up on trying to move forward, but he wants to get by the 10 machine.
It is absolutely a hornet's nest right now from P5 on back.
Jay Becker before throughout the season, and I'm curious if this aggressive driving is coming from past history.
Yeah, not sure. I'm right there with you if it's coming from past history, but sure would definitely be an aggressive here on this restart when you drive right.
Yeah, I like where I'm at right now, so I don't want to see a caution.
Of Jay Becker.
I don't doubt it.
Here they go back down into 1 and 2, 3.
It'll be lap 60 next time by.
Quickly, but Sherwood
105 to go.
They're going to fall back in line now behind the 10.
And it's got to watch out for Ken Campbell setting up. You see this grouping, though, and trying to move forward. Cole Sacchetti in this group, but massive rear-end damage for the 42 machine as another driver bounces to the inside. That's Sam Siegel going into the grass for the 55 machine, but able to get back onto the racing surface cleanly, and will stay green as we go back to the Christopher
Wreck behind, no caution.
Fiasco.
Able to save it, keep going.
As the 9 side by side with that 37.
Yeah, Wilson there stuck to the bottom of that 3 wide action. Alexander continues to free fall through the field.
Sarton's back up to P4, 3 seconds behind. Bussler's 2.5 behind. Alstis, you're pulling away, almost a second.
Sideline trying to work his way through.
Alex Jones talked about his very unique driving style of going down into the apron once again, 3 and 4.
I'm also saving.
Just feeling comfortable again.
There you go.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about if you're following everyone else, you're going to be stuck in traffic, and sometimes
P2 is on pit road the same time as you. First guy that came down on lap 44, which is Sarton. Again, he's over 3 seconds behind.
Having a very unique type of a race, having to fight his way forward after getting collected with some damage these last couple of incidences, and able to clear that 9 machine of Wilson.
Yeah, a little bit close there for those two, but gets clear nonetheless, and now going to march forward, try to go pick off the 53 there, Christopher Wade. The 6 right there as well in front of them as they try to work their way forward. Good standing. And I gotta say, even for Cole Sacchetti, it's not converting to 6, but for Cole Sacchetti in the 42, I mean, even with all that rear end damage, moving forward quite well.
So that's to talk about the short track, so track tight courses, it gives you a chance, even with advantage, to be able to rebound and recover. It's Ken Campbell. The aggressive dive bomb move to the inside, setting up, trying to get by Rob Sherwood. The 22 that was aggressive in the first stint of this run, now enabling the 15 to have a chance to fight side by side. As look back from Philip Chavez's rear bumper, and you can see Ken Campbell.
I won't tell you that you ran your fastest lap just 4 laps ago.
Grip. Every time the 15 just sends it into the entry of the corner.
Yeah, that's kind of what Ken did there in that first run before we got that caution.
All right, man,
Caution's out. Rob Sherwood and company, wrecking behind.
Sherwood off the
Take tires on this one, right?
and there
Yeah.
goes the yellow flag. It's the 20.
And if it happens to go, this would be what? If you take tires here, that leaves 2 sets in the pits, right?
He's got a putter backwards and require damage on engine.
Okay.
And
I just hate having to start mid-pack if that's what happens.
Rob Sherwood hunting to gain positions to now.
Well, you can bet that Sarton's going to stay out here
as we hit the 10 laps to go.
because he's already
I got a lot of stuttering.
taken 2.
Just a little bit of regression there, trying to get that position so I
Go in.
can get it done.
Yeah.
And then tried to just drive it down into 3 and 4. Car didn't stick, and then just turned himself across the nose there.
Yeah, Derek, this
coming
track
with
is
you.
horrible with graphics.
Max speed, watch pit road.
Or for the 22.
And it's real hard to drive because it's almost like it's flickering.
Also,
So I would imagine it's doing it on the stream as well.
for the 22, who thought he was going to be clear instead.
I don't see it on screen.
The nose of the 101 and bringing out another caution
It's
here.
just this track though.
Drivers hit pit.
I think they had to do some graphic updates to some of the tracks to fix it, but maybe they didn't fix this one.
Clear exit, come on out.
And also the ability to make some big passes is the fact of drivers having such a different tire strategy calls. And
No, it ain't got nothing to do with the settings. I've turned everything on low and it still does it. It's
in pit road to work.
the actual track itself just isn't optimized.
Are left with 2 with
Because I'm getting good steady frame rates. This is
Tire
jittery.
play a big role in this, Sam, based off the kind of the split strategy here from these guys. And
I'm getting more frames here than I do at like Daytona. Daytona I get like 70.
those guys, I think they've already used 2 sets, so coming down on this pit stop,
Ninth ain't too bad.
or would have used their 3rd
No,
set.
not at all.
Whereas Brian McCain and everybody else on only using now their 2nd set of tires.
Sarton stayed out, so I'm going to be a whole lot better tired than him.
keeps you in the
Yep.
fight for a chance.
I just got to dodge Rex.
Yep, you'll have 20 lap fresher tires than him.
Sherwood officially calling it a night. Not going to have time to get repairs done. Doesn't want to sit, wait. It will come back to next week's race where drivers unsure of how to set up for tonight's race. Well, how do you set up for a track that NASCAR doesn't go to on the regular basis? Heading to Spa next week.
I put my list in with Santa,
Gonna be our next destination.
and he delivered.
I gotta say, Trevor, next week's gonna be a fun one to watch on how drivers in these Xfinity cars are gonna be able to handle a track that
Delivered in a gray van marked Amazon.
I mean, the historic Spa racetrack, the elevation changes, the speed, and all the different types of corners that it's going to throw at them next week. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch those guys.
I think it was Amazon. No, I don't remember.
A track that is designed for the lightweight, high downforce Formula One cars.
gonna be seeing drivers. How do you handle? And it's gonna be a
It did take me like
You would
a
imagine
year.
this track would be among one of the easiest to scan.
Grand Prix 130.
Yeah, it's just old though. This is an old scan.
Spot.
man,
Gonna be a good one to watch. But tonight, we are now past. We are now less than 100 laps to go in tonight's race for the Bucker 175, and we got
Everything I'm sitting in right here took a year to get.
All right, bud,
so
P8,
it,
so you got that outside line.
it happened a little slowly.
Gas sponsoring William Duff's 77 machine, but also helping out here at the Full Send Racing Series. And if you'd like to go check out on the great
Before that, I was on a 2x4 desk.
has, we'll head over to Spotify and as well other podcast channels to go check out what they have.
That ain't bad.
Their Instagram to make sure that you're updated on when the next episode of On the Throttle podcast is uploaded. Thank
That
you
ain't bad at all, Derek.
to help out the Full Send Racing
Okay, guys,
Series.
let's restart.
As
Stay in
Cameron
line
Sarton and
until
Andrew Medley going to be our front
restart,
2
please.
drivers are
The
ready.
graphics is fine.
All right, buddy, get ready.
not to come into pit road.
The CPU is what iRacing needs for these high frame rates.
Of when our stage break was over on drivers that stayed out compared to those that didn't. Expect to see Brian McCain
Leader's gone.
aggressive on trying to make these passes as soon as possible. Pace car into pit road. The butt kicker 175 is back underway.
Still there?
Yeah, great start there from the 24 of Cameron Sarton. Yeah, I think he learned his lesson, Sam. Took the inside line compared to the outside line that we saw him take at the start of the race. But it's going to be that battle for second between Andrew Medley and the 15 of Ken Campbell. How aggressive is the 15 going to be here on his teammate with Campbell? And then what's going to happen with the 8 of McCain? He's going to be side by side with the 30.
You are clear low, 39 threw it in. Highline definitely looking a little bit slower than you.
Stay low. There's a car on the high side.
Yeah, there you go. 3 wide, you're on the
Still
bottom.
there.
It was
You're on the
given
bottom.
3's in the middle. Now 1's taking the high side. You're still 3 wide on the bottom.
Outside.
How do you get
2
by?
wide
3
there.
backed out of it. You got room up top just a tad.
Oh, gets below the 3.
1's on your outside. 1's now cut up a little bit.
3 wide.
3 wide, back on the bottom again.
Turn 4. Very shallow entry to turn 1.
You're going to have the advantage getting in.
He's got the grip.
Hold on, three, still three.
Aggressive move.
99 right rear.
3 wide.
Back double wide, one outside.
It's calling.
One's also on new tires. Now 94 coming up, right rear.
Use that
Not clear.
advantage, clear the 99 and the 8 are now going to get held up behind the 11 Tyler Thomas, and right there with them the 94 of Joshua Altus.
One had to absolutely check up for the 11, 3 wide bottom.
Just the 94 machine.
3 wide bottom.
Feels like tire strategy calls, mid race is what keeps the 94 in these positions.
Still 3.
As another squeezing side by side, it's going to force the 11 on Thomas.
Still 3.
It's Will Bustler now in the middle, and like you said,
Back double.
and they each
Just 11 outside. You're going to have the run off the corner. Clear high.
just pitted under this last yellow, trying to make this march forward as cleanly as they can. Other drivers going to be swamped as Collie moves backwards. It's all Cameron Sark trying to pull away.
15 washed up. You got the bottom line.
Drive away from
You
it.
got the acceleration.
But here comes those new tires. Collie
Clear up.
from guys on the newer tires as well. As he's got
P3.
there, along with Jay Becker, Colson-Petty, Ryan Lynch falling back with him. Jonathan Woods in the 2. As those
12's got no choice but to let you turn low.
tires and John
Outside.
getting clear. Here comes a P3. Christopher Wade trying to get clear.
Still there, right rear.
Of Brian Wilson to
Clear up.
Jonathan
All
Woods.
right, man. Caution is out.
As they continue.
Caution's out. Way to drive.
The second, it's Brian. Now about a half a second away.
I'd be willing to bet he's going to go in this time.
It's the 101 and other drivers piling in late.
Oh, he just saw you ripping through. I wouldn't doubt
Was
it.
thrown.
But he might be worst off position-wise coming back out.
There in the 101. Looks like 77.
38 for
No, maybe not.
Also in
A lot of people pit at 65.
the third car was, but
Yeah.
Chavez is trying to get that one.
No, wait. That means they're not going in, so he will get a bad. Okay, never mind.
The question is, if you're Cameron starting in those
Let's see, 60.
do you come in this time by?
Very bizarre incident.
First, third, and fourth all were on pit road last
A couple of last
on lap 44. The guy that is in
lets the car continue.
8th right now, the 11, he was the last on pit road, lap 50.
The driver with no
49
is Christopher Norris
for Brandon Colley in 12th,
If the 101
and a lot of 64s behind that. So yeah, he's going to have a pretty bad starting position if he comes down right now.
The 101 spinning in
Plus, this
I
would
think
be
he's
his
gotta
third
come
set
down.
already.
in front of the 77 of William Duffin, collecting 3 extra.
Oh, wow. He's staying out.
Involved
Yeah.
in that incident.
I think
I
he
think
knows
he
it.
sees it the same. Yep.
Bizarre. It looked like Chavez, had it, got loose off the corner, had it locked down, and then just rolled, like you said, just back up into traffic. Norris nowhere to go, and then sends him down to the inside line, and Duff had nowhere to go. I think Jacob Grant actually got stopped and didn't get involved in that, which if he did, hats off to him, because he had nowhere to go in that incident, but just a really bizarre wreck there on the front straightaway.
Yeah, we're definitely sitting mighty pretty right now.
We are going to take another commercial break for ourselves as we are marching the halfway marker, as this field has been getting themselves prepared and set up for this race start. Plenty of drivers hit pit road, still having Cameron started up front. It's the Buccaneer 175 here at New Hampshire. We will be back right after this.
Get back out in the lead and run my line and save a little bit.
There you go.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is.
Still can't make it on fuel, right?
Puts you in the driver's seat. Industry's leading.
I don't think I ever asked you what you could do on fuel.
Drive on laser
I'm wanting to say
circuits
80-ish.
Go head to head against other
So
drivers
no.
chosen
Okay.
by skill-based
No.
matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level.
If you can grab that
Series,
usage column on my last lap while I'm out there running,
the most accurate drive.
and then use that to calculate how many laps based off 18.7 gallon.
Gotcha.
Join a race or host your own with players from
Then that way we'll know what lap I need to pit on.
or in a league with friends.
Well, we'll need to know what lap, if a caution comes out, do I pit there or not?
Visit iRacing.com.
Actually, if it goes more than like 20 laps, I'm pitting anyway, so
Yeah.
because of tires.
Yep.
Yeah, true, Derek.
Hey, just a question. Is there any reason for the drop to the end? The exit won't get closed and you're all pit?
Alright, man, we're going green next time by. Alright, man, line up on the outside row now.
Question for me, William?
Yeah, I got a drop to the end. Penalty. I guess it said the exits were closed and we were all pitting.
Yeah, you must have got an iRacing. That's from iRacing. Because, what'd you do? Enter a closed pit road?
I guess I exited the closed pit road, but you're...
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I exited closed pit road.
He just to the
end of the line.
outside. He breaks so much later. Raskin can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who's
buddy.
going to take
Good luck.
it in the end?
And here comes
Thank you.
He's going to make the move to the
All right,
outside.
man.
Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Go, go.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does.
I thought he may try to snooker you, but nope.
He's trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Stretch on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. Deep end doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down of the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going?
You got the run off the corner.
No back into the fence.
You got a fender on him.
Banging and to the line.
He is much faster.
He's got no choice.
Damage on Challenger.
He's in the 4th line.
New
New leader, 8 car. Good job. All right, now just get back into your rhythm.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Brian McCann taking the lead as we're back under green flag conditions for the Butt Kicker 175. Race number 7 underway from Full Set Racing Series. My name's Sam Dyer. With me is Trevor Earhart, and the top 2 feeling comfortable and confident, but it's everyone from 3rd on back that's starting to get a little bit frisky as Joshua Alt is trying to hold off Ross State of Kent Campbell as the rest of the field trying to make their way forward.
Yeah, Campbell, Tatum, and Waltz is all doing battle. Tatum a little bit of a wiggle, but here comes a little bustler. But I think it's going to be Cameron's hurt and saying that might be in a little bit of trouble here. He stayed out under that last caution, hasn't come down pit road. He's got about 20 lap older tires than everybody around him. So this 24 might get swamped up here by the field once they catch up to him. But you know, everybody else trying to get these positions for themselves. I can tell you what, John Dart there in the 5, up into 6th place. Neatly and quietly working his way up into the field, almost into the top 5.
And also in cracking into the top 10, the 9 machine of Brian L. Wilson. I mean, that 9 machine caught up in a couple of incidences earlier in this race and is inside of the top 10. Not a bad run for himself. Andrew Medlin, Ken Campbell also joined with Cameron Sart on the fact that they could be getting swamped. Old tires for the both of them. And Campbell's doing his best to hold off this field on the outside lane, as Jay Beckard and others inside of our top 7 try to just pull away as fast as possible.
Just trying to pull away, get away from the chaos as much or as quickly as they can. It's going to be Wilson looking to the inside, and that car you saw on the apron, that's the 45 of Alex Jones. He's worked his way up in the field with that unorthodox driving style as he tries to go fight back there with Brandon Colley, the 7 Cedric Hunter, but Wilson looking for a way around. Ken Campbell just going to have to fall in line, though, as looks like the field's starting to get their way sorted out, except for this battle back here with the 45, the 99, and the 7.
It's more impressive the fact that Alex Jones isn't just losing the rear end every single lap, continues to run that apron line and working out for now. For how long is that advantage going to be? As his fresher tires, oh boy, Trevor goes way high. That's Tyler Thomas with a big shunt off the middle center of the corner, and able to keep it off the outside wall. The 11 will fall back to 18th place, and now under fire from the 2 of Jonathan Woods.
Yeah, that little mistake there going to cost the 11 a lot of positions, a lot of momentum here. Is Woods looking to the inside. Here's the 32 of Zach Hall, who's trying to recover after his little spin that he had, trying to avoid the 26 of Travis Dart, send him to the inside wall. He tries to make his recovery run. Woods to the inside, going to drift up just a little bit, almost make contact with the 11, but that battle still going to continue here out of turn number 2.
The difference.
I don't know, Derek, but in my testing a long time ago, hold on.
Drivers like to run just run the way that the corner is, a natural just flowing curve.
Entry's the hardest part. I cannot talk during entry.
Where you just off into the corner, get to the apex of the corner, you turn the car as fast as you can.
A full tank makes it looser, I believe.
Right away, and see it there, right on the inside. Still trying to get for that diamond aspect. Everyone else running smoothly is.
I think the theory is more weight.
Right on board with Cole Sketty, side by side with Ken Campbell as
All right, we're
Jay
halfway
Becker
to
and
finish.
the 24 of Cameron Sarton side by side.
Yeah, so really starting to fall through this field on those tires. And here comes Jay Becker, who quietly had a great night going for himself here in this team machine, trying to get back up into the top, trying to fight for the sixth position. And then
Can you tell me if the guys behind me are shifting?
by him.
I can, yep, absolutely.
Steady, but we saw him spun out on the inside down the back straightaway at one point tonight. You see the rear damage effective to his car working his way through.
Yes, right off the bat.
Camera here with him is just
They are shifting. All right.
Yes.
behind the 15 of King Campbell.
Can't go low.
At least the guy right behind you is. I'm checking with Ross Tatum right now.
Cameron Sarton and Ken Campbell will move forward. Can be hard to trust the 15 old tires versus everyone else that's on newer sets. Just banking on someone on the inside to make the mistake. Get the opening that's necessary and get right on that front bumper on the entry of the corner of the 9. Known to be quite good at
P3 is not shifting.
courses as they are getting very close to one another off the exit of the corner.
Yeah, really close to
P4 is.
Cole Sketty had to give up a little bit of momentum there. And here comes the 37, Santa of Dalton Alexander, the car that stayed out the longest out of everybody. He came down to his.
Yeah, I think it's still
P5 is
about
also
even
shifting.
shifting versus not shifting right now. So
Still in the fight. Inside and now cracking into the top 10, getting by Cole Sketty, Hunter, and others. Right now, driver, if you look at the fresh.
but it's starting to sound like it's getting bogged down here, and we are running 32-second laps.
Well, Ryan Lynch going to be those two drivers that have fresher tires than everyone else. Got a
Get one
7-lap
outside.
advantage
Oh, that was not
All
easy.
clear, all clear.
of this 99 machine.
You're good. 10th faster than P2. You're up a second and a half already. 3.5 back to P3.
You're not burning your tires up.
4 back to P4 and 4.5 back to P5.
See how this is going to play out for you as Edgar gets a little bit tight there. He almost drifts up into Cole Sketty in front of them, and then Brandon Colley had a little bit of
That low line braking, that's
Ryan Lynch could get to his.
going to get me.
For a way around the 12 of Andrew Medlin.
Get by. That's, yeah. It's 99 inside lane. Trying to run that second groove as Medlin was thinking the same idea. Almost contact between the two drivers and as well in front of them. 42 close to be Becker finally finish out their squabble. It's the 42 get in position, and with everyone running that same lane, we were talking about how kind of can turn into an accordion effect. Everyone runs the same lane
What lap? Well, I need to pit on.
at times. Because
I
everyone
was just wow, you read my mind. Looking at that
Alex Jones
just now.
So running that all the way down the yellow line, you'd find an advantage of moving forward faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of that's what kind of makes New Hampshire kind of fun is the different lines that you can run, but also at the same time, if everybody's trying to run that preferred line, which is kind of that middle line where you basically see everybody, it does create that accordion effect, which could lead to drivers getting run over and then some cars getting spun out that we've seen already over the course of the
You can see the 28, that's going to be Tony Brent, who had an amazing start for the race that fell apart very quickly under a first caution.
You can make it all the way from
Finally got his repairs done, and it's puttering back
Out.
into the 32nd position. Next spot
comfortably.
Dalton Alexander, teammate of Texas Speed, part-time driver of the season, up to 9th, now setting up for the pass for 8th, but we move forward up. Talk about John Dart, the surprise.
Is it possible somebody pit it and we go green and get beat on fuel here?
Well, and in a fight with the one of Will Bustler's, Cameron Sarton's closing in on this battle.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the
No,
John was up there and
everybody else.
didn't have the greatest of
Let me see.
run for him.
There's one guy that's in the back that pit behind you, Brandon Colley. He last pit on lap 73. He cannot make it from there, so everybody has to pit one more time.
The apron of turn 1. I think he was trying to get back.
And you could, if you came down pit road on lap 100, let's just say caution came out, something like that, you'd be able to make it the rest of the way.
Philip Shot.
That would be 65 laps.
Pit road.
You're working lap 93 right now.
Could have actually brought out a yellow
You're getting close.
and allowed us to stay green. John Dart and Will Bustler continue this fight for fourth place. It's Cameron Sarton looking at this grouping.
All right, man. Caution is out.
Caution's out. There you go.
Pit road
In this
closed.
group of
It's the
four, the shot that you
44
see,
car.
Taking tire here, right?
yellow flag comes
Yes.
out. And trouble for the 19 of Jacob Grant, and as well, Doug Pierce going to be involved in this one.
Unfortunately for Jacob Grant, avoided the last caution that we had. I don't think
It's
he
the 8
not so
car.
lucky here this time around for himself. And then for Doug Pierce, I mean, was up inside the top 10.
Oh, yeah,
So
we're filling it up.
Cameron Sarton back in P6.
Here in this incident.
He'll definitely be coming down now as well.
One of those exit at turn 4, just cranking the wheel, trying to stay off the outside wall. And there's a driver here inside, and the lip spin, and away they both will go.
Pit road is
Bring
now
out
open.
another caution to be our 7th of the day here tonight as get the replay up. Gonna see the 19 Jake Grant on the outside trying to stay off that outside wall. Breaks it back in. A little extra turn to stay off the outside wall.
So you're getting 60.
Spun around.
Yeah, I think Grant got a little bit loose, had a lot of wheel into it, and then when it finally got a little bit of traction,
But 68?
or off of 4, it snapped back on him and tried to keep it off the 39, but that's just part of racing here in New Hampshire. Same, you got a lot of wheel in it, trying to keep it off that outside wall, and it finally just snaps back at you, and nowhere for the 39 Doug Pierce to go. Looks like the whole field is going to come down pit road this time, except for looks like Ryan Lynch going to be one of the few cars to stay in.
And Lynch might be trying to go for a lap led by staying out an extra lap. But everyone else, like you said, into pit road, this is going to put equal footing back on track. And this, I think, for most of the field, if they want a long green flag run, this is exactly what they need. Everyone on equal footing. It's going to enable everyone to get into that space they were at when we started the race. It had one of our longest runs of the night.
Yeah, I think this will be the first time since, I believe, lap 36 when we had our first caution, or 32, somewhere around 32, 36, and everybody's been on, essentially apart from Ryan Lynch, have been on the same tire strategy.
And this is going to help out the field. Again,
All right, so you got one more set in the pits.
Great green flag racing, but the other set of things, this could be just making people feel a lot more stressed and dramatic moves. Moves could be set up as we've got 70 laps to go when we cross the line. And Ryan Lynch staying out the 3, not going for just a lap lead. Looks like he's going to be trying to stay up front and see
If Cameron took tires on that stage, that means he's out now, right?
He should be, yeah, he should be out.
Sarton, I mean, he was right there battling with John Dart and Will.
Let me see.
For 4th and 5th, and
I think I'm sitting real good right here.
Tires and those guys, but I mean, we've seen how fast Cameron Sarton's car's been on these long runs. Maybe Ryan Lynch hasn't shown us everything that he's got in that 3 machine, so maybe it works out.
The only thing I can think of that might give him
over the course of the night,
a set of tires is that first caution that came out.
really well.
But I don't think so.
Well for Ryan here.
That was the first caution was on lap 20. Unless he didn't take tires there and only took fuel. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, he's
out of this situation. If we get some quick,
he's taking.
Nah,
that would have
me
been
and him were
his
racing
first.
emergency pit stop
on that lap 27 pit. He took tires because we
Again,
blew through the field.
more of a net gain for himself.
So yeah,
Qualified back in 21st position.
that's right. Yeah, you guys were nose to tail coming through. You're 100% right.
Top 15. It's a solid night for this 3 of.
So I guess my challengers are the
himself into the
few guys behind me, like Ross, Joshua, John, Will.
He's going to start to his outside, and then you got Ross Tatum with Altus, Joshua Altus, John Dart, and Cameron Sarton all right behind him. It's gonna be tough.
And they should only have one as well, one left.
Yep.
Couple of laps.
You've got 21 lap old. I'm sorry, you have 21 lap fresher tires than the 3 to your inside.
Start in the middle is Andrew Medlin, and on the bottom gonna be the 8 machine.
Yeah.
And
Derek said he stayed out one time, so he may still have one.
28th position, Andrew Medlin in 15th, and the 8th. Brian McCann got to be in 2nd spot. So a lot of different styles on how you're going to attack this restart.
2 cautions ago.
Up front, McCann, he's got to time it perfectly to try to get by the 3. Well, the other
That's where he started to fall back through the field.
And wait until they're finally able to take off without running into the driver in front of them. As we're seeing the pace car pull off, it's time for the butt kicker 175 get back underway. And here we go into the restart zone. The 3 gets a great launch.
3's got nothing, ran way deep into that corner.
Turn 1.
Everybody up through the gears, and McCann looking for that way around the 3 here. Ryan Lynch is not going to take him long. Lynch goes high. Here comes the 8, already clear and into the lead. It's going to be 3 wide for second place out of turn number 2. Lynch, the 94 of Altus, the 21 of Ross Tatum. Altus going to try to take over that second spot, but still going to be 3 wide heading into 3. His camera starting just sits there and waits for this battle to end. Now it's going to be side by side for second, but Altus looks like he's going to prevail out of turn number 4.
You're back in first.
Dan Simple Seti gets the job done as the 3 of Ryan Lynch continues to fall backwards. A quick dive.
Don't know what happened there. That was a weird turn.
Field
I
as
am so sorry,
it could be a scare between Cedric Hunter and others in the middle of the pack, but Ken Campbell trying to resettle back in, get moving for himself with the middle of the pack. Fresh rubber, everyone on equal footing. It's difficult to make as easy as passes. It's when the driver in front of you used to have the older set, as Delton Alexander, last season's champion, and Zach Hall on the outside, side by side, battling for this 11th position.
Caution's out.
Still going to be side by side. Zach, a little bit of contact. There goes Alexander in the wall. He's going to spin back across.
That guy that just now restarted there in first, he's already back in almost 10th.
Cedric Hunter, and I believe as well, Sam Siegel involved with that.
Extra broadcasting.
And what a call by our producer Robert Moyer, switching to this battle that was.
Got 1 hour remaining on the clock.
And ultimately bringing out another caution, and aggressive driving sets us up for our 8th caution of the day.
You'd be able to knock that out easily.
Situation of what we saw.
64 to go.
Last caution, Zach.
Not running cautions.
Getting off just kind of broke loose on him, caught the 37 there of Dalton Alexander and sent him along for a ride down the front straightaway. And unfortunately, Sam, with how narrow the front straightaway is, once he made contact with the inside wall, bounces back up up across the track and collects a couple more race cars.
And those extra little bits of bumps and bruises have been a lot more disastrous for the field than really the initial spins here tonight, as now Dalton Alexander and Cedric Hunter are both going to be dealing with required damage that will send them into pit road. Jacob Grant going to be joining, as right before this yellow flag came out, he called it a night for the 19, joining up with Robert Sherwood and Peter Dillon that called it a day earlier as well. Could we see more? As Dalton Alexander being a part-time driver, Cedric Hunter park at the start of the season. The 7's got to stay and get repairs, get back out there on track. But right now, I got to say, Trevor, this is looking more and more as the season progresses. If Cedric Hunter is going to run for a championship, we have to turn it to a win-and-you're-in situation.
Yeah, I think Cedric's going to find himself in that must-win situation. It's kind of been a rough start for him. I mean, like, we had this starting apart, a couple of races at the start of the season, been involved in a couple of wrecks in the races that he has run or wanted to run full-time. And I believe last week, or maybe it was the week before at Iowa, had some equipment issues for himself. They took him out of a chance at a good finish as well. So I think you're going to be spot on there with that evaluation.
And with the field settling in, getting those damage repairs. The other driver that was involved, David McConnell, in the 4, he's getting service done. On top of that, Alex Jones, Zach Paul, Cedric Hunter, Dalton Alexander all into pit road, and Nick Holland going to get service done. Getting a quick fuel, tires, and back out on track. Going to be Christopher Melton in 21st position, Curtis Valechka in 22nd, and 23rd, William Duff. Duff caught up in that Philip Chavez incident that happened a few cautions ago. Still able to get running for himself, but Christopher Melton and Curtis Valechka, I feel like we have to talk about those drivers at least once a race on the fact that they keep their nose out of trouble, and once again they're trying to move forward and go for at least a top 15 finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's like week in, week out. I think we come to them about the same time in the race just to see how they're doing. And
I think Josh was my biggest threat right now.
Gain as many spots.
I mean, you were almost a full second ahead of him before that caution came out.
See where you end up, and I think this week looking fairly.
Your last lap was
the top 25.
391. His
chopping off on fuel, damage repairs, and they'll get back.
It's not going to show me now.
Falling deeper in the field instead of being up in 21st and 22nd, they'll be back in 26th and 27th for themselves up front. Still
your best is about a flat. His was a 23. Third's 26.
Under our last
fourth is 16, then a 52 back in P5.
Ross Tatum, Cameron Sarton, and John Dart are top 5.
But that doesn't mean anything. It all depends on what kind of traffic they were in.
Cole Sketty and Brian Wilson going to be your top 10. And looking at the drivers that are inside of our top 10, I mean, John Dart, we were mentioning it, what a run he's having right now. But Joshua Altus, once again, one of our biggest movers of the race, and it comes down to tire strategy that puts the 94 up front, challenging for a top 5 finish again.
Yeah, I mean, just playing it well. And I'm thinking back to the last time we were here in the Xfinity car. I want to say he was having a great run as well there, and then kind of got caught up in some bad luck in that race. I believe it was a playoff race as well, and just got caught up in some bad luck. So not surprised to see him up there, but
all right, buddy, restarts on you.
To his advantage to gain the 16 positions that he has.
Yeah.
Get that good hole shot and pull away.
Qualified 6th under the last time they were here. That was back in season 3, the only time that they've ran
there you go.
the full send racing series.
You're clear up.
And Joshua Altus ultimately finished in 8th place for that race. So again, he has the speed. Can he continue on with the great momentum as we're back to green flag action? Brian McCain.
He got way wide.
Single fouled out. It's side by side for 3rd place.
It's going to be the 21 Ross Tatum, 24 Cameron Sarton. They're going to be side by side, but not for long. As Tatum gets that position clear, Sarton's just going to fall in line and see what he can do here. It's going to be side by side behind them for 5th and 6th. Though Ken Campbell, John Dart, that battle is going to continue down here into 3 and 4. Campbell going to be really aggressive on the
Good job.
Using that outside line to his advantage. Gets clear of the 5, and now the 5 going to fall under pressure here from the 1 of Will Bustler.
Will Bustler's been looking strong. Ken Campbell's been very strong here this evening. In the 5, I have to just continue to drop back. Might be able to settle in around 9th and 10th position based off the lap times that we're seeing right now. Brian McCann, once again, trying to just pull away from the rest of the field as when single files up, it's back in that of 11th and 12th, where the drivers are still side by side.
That's going to be Ryan Lynch, Brian Wilson, the 11, Tyler Thomas, all together there with Jay Becker trying to poke his nose in, see where he wants to go, and they got to be careful on the exit there as they almost make contact.
391 to a 438 that time. He's not shifting.
Here with Ken Campbell where all that battling's taking place, but Ken just trying to do what he can to hold on, and we brought back to Brandon Colley under pressure here from the 12 of Andrew Medlin.
Staying in your line, so the more he does that, the more dirty air you just dump on his nose.
The 11.
Clean air's king.
It's in the 11 and 9 of Brian Wilson. Wilson needing a strong run here tonight. Comes in as the bubble driver in 12th place in points. He had a 1-point advantage over Joshua Altus. Well, Altus in 2nd. The way that they're running right now, you see either the 94 or the 42 taking over that top spot. And we can take it over that 12th bubble position in points.
Yeah, you might see that, but that means not a fall from Brian Wilson. You know, 20 spots from where he started. He was spun around at 3 points and hit Samson, doing everything he can to try to hold on to that bubble spot in the points. But up in front of them, it's going to be Cole Sketti under pressure there from the 99. Brandon Colley, 12 with Andrew Medlin, and Sketti with that damage. Trying to do everything he can to hold off hard charging Brandon Colley and Andrew Medlin.
That rear end.
You are much smoother off the corner.
Punched in for the 42, and it causing slight parachute effect on the straightaways, causing lack of speed. But even with the damage the 99 has grabbed, the 12 as well, they are all putting on a great show for the battle for 8th place between Cole Siketti and the 42 machine, Colley and the 99 Barbie machine, and the 12 Special Olympics. Andrew Medlin trying to make their charge, and once again the exit of the corner as the tires wear in more and more. You see that same movement with the outside driver just looking like it wants to snap loose on them off the exit.
Yeah, just getting a little bit loose on one corner exit, and as those tires were out.
Gap is kind of equalized right now at about 8/10.
Kind of middle groove, looking like the spot you want to be. Is Brandon Colley not able to get any of those passes done? Gets kind of pinched down by the 42 and the 12. Has to give up those 2 spots and fall back in line here, and try to see if he can hold off Tyler Thomas and Brian Wilson, who are trying to close in on this group of 3.
We also look back to 14th, 15th position. Christopher Wade, William Duff surviving after their collisions. Travis Dart, who's been caught up in a few wrecks, trying to get by. Ryan Lynn, who is still on the oldest of tires, about 20 lap older tires than everyone else, is the 3, and he has fallen from 3rd place on the last restart all the way down to 18th. We're talking about modifieds and looking like multi-class vehicles. That's what the Xfinity cars have looked like the block this season. You got the second half, you got the first half of the race, everyone looks like they're running the same car. Second half of the race, you got half the field looking like they've got no hood or no front bumper.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. The nice thing about having, 35, 36 cars, you got a lot of cars, a lot of turnout. The bad thing is you have a little bit of an incident, takes out a bunch of cars, and you have this nice little you know, Xfinity race / modified race. But I gotta say, Travis Dart, even with missing the hood and what I'm assuming is a substantial amount of front end damage, having a pretty good recovery run up into 17th position, only one spot off of where he qualified.
That smokes out a lot.
You've reached the second mark, back to P2.
Of how bad is the damage that you've collected. Even
2 seconds back to third. 2.5 back to Sarton.
Engine damage.
2.5 back to Campbell, and 3+ back to P5.
There's always the chance that your temperatures are going to rise and may see that engine just go kaput at some point this race. But Travis Dart's hoping that does not happen. Keeps up with a decent run, and right now Travis Dart only 2 tenths off our fastest driver on track, being our leader. That's impressive on the fact of the damage it's held on.
You guys are turning really good lap times to only be that far off, trying to see if he can find a way around Christopher Wade in the 53, William Duff in front of them in the 77, trying to use that outside line and kind of take a nice little arc on corner exit to get a good run off. Just not able to do so as the 50 pulled away slightly, but on board with the 6 there, Jonathan Burns. He tries to catch up to the 26 and Travis.
Oh, there's a bump there.
P2's not yet shifting.
6 looking to swell as Texas Speed.
I got a cough.
6 machine running in the middle of the pack, currently the highest running Texas Speed driver. As you know, chat is highly loving the fact that we talk about those drivers. Is the 11 of Tyler Thomas in 11. It's the highest running Texas Speed driver, and then behind the 11 machine would be the 6 of Jonathan Bird. He's having a great run for himself. Also, update for drivers that were in pit road, getting damage repair. The 7 of Cedric Hunter has officially called it a night. A rough one, started on pit road, misqualified, and goes even more downhill as he will not be able to finish out tonight's butt kicker 175 is right on board with the 11 machine in 11th place of Tyler Thomas.
Yeah, riding on board here, up in front of the battle with Brandon Colley, Cole Sketty. That still continues as
Starton is not pitting.
Clear both of them, but
or not shifting, excuse me.
We found a nice little quiet spot to ride around in here, Sam, in that 11th position, but right now, moving forward in that battle for 9th and 10th, Brandon Colley, Cole Sketty at it again here at turn number 4.
Side by side, who's going to keep this spot? It's going to be the rear end damage on Cole Sketty, the front end damage of Brandon Colley. It's going to be the biggest weakness for a run between the two. With the way that they're running right now, got a feeling just one small mistake could be costly for the both of them, as we've seen that a lot here tonight. Even the veterans of have the highest experienced drivers. Full Set Racing Series have had issues at New Hampshire, and tonight these two continue to put on a show. Who's going to get that 9th place position as Cole Sketty, Brandon Colley drag race down into turn number 1. Still the nose ahead into 42 with Cole Sketty.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Colley's been at the door right here, drives it up to the door a little bit. Past the door, gets about half a car length clear of the 42, but Cole just able to carry that momentum on the top side, almost a little bit of contact down the back straightaway. But Cole using that top line to his advantage to carry that momentum, but Colley going to drive it in deep here in the 3 and 4, see if he can slide up.
He hit the brake early that time.
Going to get that pass done after a couple laps of hard battling here out of turn number 4.
And then the question, what are those tires going to look like?
Glad you're on the inside.
Forward,
didn't want to risk it.
Machine of John Dart. Still side by side, and he'll lock it up, puff of smoke right in front of this group. And Andrew Medlin able to react quick enough not to spin out the 5 and gave plenty of space. A scary situation right in front of the battle we were just watching. John Dart locking up the brakes and entering turn number 1. We have not seen that a lot here tonight. The drivers actually locking up their brakes, but obviously we're expecting
45 to go.
And that was a bizarre incident to have us out into the outside wall.
Car on the track pulling off.
Again, grabbing more damage from the...
Yep, I see him.
Cole Sketty, Brandon Colley both bouncing off the outside wall.
No caution, no caution, no caution, no caution.
Andrew Medlin might have caught it just a little bit.
Dang it!
Really uncomfortable out of turn number 2.
It's 2 cautions out.
Turn number 4 there. As they were all kind of on top.
So now the question is, do you get tired or not?
Caution's out.
Oh boy.
It's out, and it's the 13 and Nick.
From here, you're going to have 40 laps to go.
Yellow flag, but his engine expired right after he passed the pit road entry.
What do you think, Derek?
You should go back green on 124, 125.
Throughout the whole entire racetrack and could not make it to pit road. And that will be our...
What do you think, Pete? Pit or no?
Settling in for the field, and We talked about it with.
I'd say you have to.
Drivers having engines expired because
Have to.
of damage.
Yep.
I'm not surprised that we finally got to see it in a game.
I just watched the 3 drop back.
Sam as well. This could be.
He's way in the back now. Just after 21 lap older tires.
If my math is right.
Everybody's coming with you.
Coming down
24. Yep. Last minute decided to come on in also. So only Ross Tatum stayed out right there.
Who's the last set now? Maybe you bank on a caution, but hey, the field's saying it's go time. Ross Tatum, the leader, staying out. A few other drivers also deciding to stay out. It's a split decision of heading into pit road.
Too late, Derek.
Not in for the likes of Tyler Thomas.
Ooh, a lot of stayed out.
Very split.
2 sets. Well, it's an easy decision. You hit pit road now.
Yeah.
Because you're not losing out on much.
I
Everybody.
didn't lose out on much. For the 24.
William Duff was last on pit road on lap 101. Everybody else was lap 94.
But for everybody else, going to save a set that stayed out, and this could get.
They're crazy.
If we have a late race caution,
unless they don't have any tires left.
What, 20 laps? Maybe even in 10 to 15. That is having any type of advantage on tires, proven throughout tonight, is a massive one to have. It allows you to march your way throughout the field.
Yeah, Ross stayed out, Will, so they'll have tires.
And currently,
And a good chance of a caution. Oh, I might have just lost.
head into
I don't think so.
Brian McCann even deeper into the field than what he's been previously.
and we know he's going to be aggressive on these restarts. So this restart's going to be a lot of fun to watch, with watching McCann try to get up through the field here on those fresh tires. But I mean, Ross Tatum, Bustler, Brandon Cawley, Cole Sketti, Brian Wilson, Jay Becker, Woods, William Duff, Christopher Wade, all staying out. I believe the 4 of McConnell just made his.
All right, so you will be outside.
Gifted 1 extra position, but still.
At least right now.
Gonna be.
Damn, I always get outside.
Same P10.
One position, instead of being trapped on the inside lane, he'll now be on the outside lane. I'm curious on how that's going to be helping the new machine, because when he's making passes, it's been either through the middle or on the bottom. I haven't seen a lot of the outside lane being used by Brian McCann. Curious if maybe that's just a comfortability on the fact of not feeling like using up those tires a little bit extra to rip the top and use some more momentum on those tires.
I think I'm trying to think back. I remember one of the restarts where he and Cameron Sarton both were on pit road at the same time. It was one of the early restarts where the field was split. I believe McCann.
I mean, I might be all right here, cause
to get around 3 or 4.
if a caution does come out late, that's going to put a lot of those guys in front of me way back,
Get those passes.
and they'll have to fight through in a short amount of time.
How much wear you're using to get around.
Wear is going to be important, especially on the fact of
The more time everybody gets racked and stacked back up, it's going to be better for you.
how do you want
As long as I can make it around like this right here clean, might still be good.
setting us up
All right, well,
Got some big damage in front of me.
to go, and
Yeah.
if another caution comes out in 20 laps, maybe 15, all those that have not pitted, that's going to put them in a great spot to have the fresher tires and the advantage to move forward. Well, if you're in the chat, put in the chat who you are expecting or rooting for to win tonight's race. Do you think that
Buckle in.
up front, where he's been for the majority of the night, or will we
77 is not on the. There he goes. He's checking up now.
this race upside down? We've had plenty of caution flags throughout tonight, but it's time for the butt kicker.
All right, pace car's off.
Here at home.
Get ready.
Get back under green
Go.
conditions. Ross Tatum, Will Hustler, hoping that their older tires will hold on long enough before another yellow pops. As Ross
3 wide and okay, back clear outside.
flag action.
Hold on.
There we go. Ross Tatum clears the field. The one of Will
3 wide. We're in the middle.
side by side for second.
2 car low.
Almost a little bit of contact.
77 on the wall.
2 of Siketti and Cawley as they continue their battle. McCann good.
Still 3.
He's got
2 low. 77 made contact. Outside's clear.
all the way on the apron trying to follow through with the 8 of McCann.
10 car outside.
4 of Joshua Altis coming through.
Slight contact, pushing up 77 to the outside lane. Altis loves the opening.
Clear 10, clear up.
And that's
94's following you.
going to be something to watch out for the 8 machine. Also, Tyler Thomas into the outside wall.
Clear 9.
Continue on with this momentum. But that brush for the 8 of Brian
42 right front.
Duff, is that going to be
Door.
the 8 and all as we ride up forward with Joshua Altis, keeping the momentum. A great route
99 outside.
as he's trying to help and bank on these drivers in front of him to hold off the 8 machine just a little bit.
Not clear.
Up with
All clear, all clear.
Kane's
Got
been
one
so
outside.
dominant all night
All right,
long.
you're back in
99
third.
outside.
Stay low.
94.
Right rear.
All clear,
up.
all clear.
Work their way
Got
up
one
to,
outside.
up here to the
One car outside
Still
on you
there?
close.
Hold your line.
third as he clears
Door.
the line of Brandon Colley. Now going to go
Still
for
there.
second on the one of Will Bustler. And I mean, he's just
Next
making
car is
mincemeat of
the
these guys on these older
Still there.
tires.
Right rear.
Hold your line.
Side with
All
Butler
clear,
up
all
and
clear.
back straightaway.
Let's get another position, another chance.
21's seen this story before.
Up to second place. The 8 is cruising right now. Joshua Altus is doing a
All
decent
right,
job
get back
trying to
in
keep
second.
pace. Behind him, going to be Cameron Sartin as well as Cole Sacchetti, trying their best to
Still
hold
there.
off the rest of
Hold
the
your
You
field.
got to run off.
Madeline with
clear, all
fresh
clear.
New leader. 8 car. Let's go.
on the inside lane. Got some fresh tires and trying to move forward, but also the lack of grip. Drivers are being quite aggressive right now, Trevor, and the grip aspect is hurting them because McCann has the lead.
All right, now take care of what you got.
McCann clear
That
of
was a lot of hard pushing.
21. Altus now clear as well, and now he gets to see if he can.
130
Good job,
next
man.
time by.
Now
35
you're
laps to go.
Sartin's gonna be the next one to get past the 21, but I mean everybody just slipping and sliding on these older tires. Brandon Colley, Cole Sacchetti, they fall back, slipping and sliding as John Dart tries to get to the inside. Here comes the 11 of Tyler Thomas, also trying to follow suit. We're on board here with, I believe, the 12 of Andrew Medlin as he works up to the rear bumper of the 21 of Cole Sacchetti.
Andrew Medlin exiting the corner now in about a bit.
He's shifting behind me.
Got Ross standing.
Checking right now.
Ross is going to be the last driver of the old set of tires. That 12 needs to work to get by. He'll move to the outside lane, trusting that he can get by. Slight squeeze off the exit.
Not into this side of the track.
All night long, but plenty of space given. I think for Ross and Medlin, they both had the same idea. Let's give each other space, but also make the pass cleanly.
Yeah, for those two, I mean, they've been quick all night long. We've seen them be quick in other races, just caught up in a couple of incidents.
No, sir. Staying in fourth.
So give each other plenty of space. Let them by. But here's John Dart all over the rear bumper. The one of Will Bustler heading to 3 and 4. Looks to the inside to fall back in the line, though. But nope, goes for a late move to the inside here through 3 and 4. Drifts up just a little bit. We should get clear of that out of turn number 4.
Laps continue to tick away. It's now 35 laps to go here this evening. And with that pass by John Dart on Will Bustler, now gives an opportunity for Tyler Thomas to make a pass on John Dart. Slight bump, slight tap, but the 11 trying to get by the 1, and Tyler Thomas trying to have one of his best finishes of the season. We rooted on and documented the very end at Dover on the fact that Tyler Thomas was trying to go for his very first top 10 finish. Well, this race could be his second, but aggressive driving inside bumps going on between the 1 and the 11 machine.
Got aggressive door-to-door action there, but don't look too far behind Tyler Thomas. Here comes his teammate of Jonathan Burt. I mean, Sam, we were just talking about him. He was running back there in the 18th position. Now he's up here inside the top 10 in that 6 machine trying to catch up to his team.
Fresh rubber gives you a chance. Also joining with the 6 machine is going to be the 3 of Ryan Lynch, who is now inside of the top 10 with fresh rubber to work with.
Yeah, Lynch is there, and then not too far behind Lynch. I mean, here comes Travis Dart with the wounded 26 machine trying to get around Brandon Colley. He's not too far outside the top 10 is Jonathan, as Burt goes for a move here on the 1 of Will Bustler. To turn number 1 and 2, and here comes Ken Campbell trying to follow suit, and Travis Dart all trying to use that outside line to get around the 1 machine of Will Bustler who's on those older tires.
These are moments to be having for yourself, and if you're one of those drivers that is yet to come pit road, you're just watching yourself losing all this time, you got to be crossing your fingers and hoping a caution flag will come out in the next maybe 5 to 8 laps. You have an advantage over the drivers that have already used all 4 sets for themselves, but Jonathan Burt, 8th place currently, and this is looking great for the 6 machine.
Yeah, looking great. Going to get one more spot here on the 21 of Ross Tatum as he continues to fall through the field on the Wilder tires as well. But, I mean, for Burt, hey, what a call for himself. Come down, get those fresh tires, and see how far he can drive up through the field. And if this thing stays green, Sam could be finding himself having a great finish here.
Jonathan Burt's best finish was 8th place at Chicagoland. Currently in 7th would be one of his best finishes of the season as the 11 and the 6. Texas Speed trying to run down John Dart and see if they can maybe gain another spot and give Tyler Thomas his first top 5 run. But you look at Ryan Lynch as well as the 26 of Travis Dart. Dart about to be inside of the top 10 now.
Yeah, I think if you're Travis Dart, you can if this stays green and he can hang on to this top 10, I think he'll be ecstatic about that finish for himself, especially after the rough starts of this race that he had.
It's rough You thought maybe your day was over. And for Ross Tatum, this has got to be a weird race to have right now, where you were expecting caution flags to come out. They didn't, and you've just fallen outside of the top 10, watching even more drivers try to pass on by as Cole Sketty, Freddie Colley, and the one Will Bustler, all drivers on same set of tires, but just having to watch as the rest of the field in front and to really race this one out to the end.
You didn't get a race it out in front of him. There was almost
still not shifting.
Teammate crime between Burt and Thomas. As Thomas
less than 30 to go.
Well, pretty hard out of turn number 2. And that checked up the 6. That allowed Campbell to get by Ryan Lynch to the inside of the 6. But if we're going to see a caution stand, this might be that area that we might see it happen as these guys are battling really hard with one another.
I mean, the potential is high. You got Ken Campbell, who is right now
starting is also not shifting.
Forward, and he's moved up into that 6th place position. Hoping that he can catch up to John Dart. And then you've got the drivers that have been wounded and running around one another all night long. Tyler Thomas, Jonathan Burt, Travis Dart, Ryan Lynch. How do you stay out of trouble but still get yourself the best finish possible? For Burt, his best finish this season was 8th. Tyler Thomas' best finish was 9th in both. Trying to get those best finishes is Ryan Lynch, trying to play a little bit of spoiler for the 3.
Yeah, Lynch just trying to get every position that he can. And you talk about another up and down night for Ryan Lynch. I mean, he was up to the inside the top 5 at one point and led some laps at one point just on the off strategies, and now finds himself with a great opportunity to get a top 10, maybe even a couple more positions.
2nd, 3rd, 4th all kind of clumped together behind you.
Not given.
You got 1.3 over Alstis, 1.6 over Sarton, 2.1 over Medlin. Couple lap cars here.
Using up each other's doors through the entry.
Choose your line.
And with this aggressive drive between the two, it's now given the open.
Take it in.
Ryan Lynch, Travis Dart. They are being patient, picking and choosing.
Clear up.
Throw that away. Travis Dart, 3rd lane, trying to make the move on his own of taking a 2-for-1 meal, but instead will fall back in line and watch the teammates again. Still be a roadblock. For how long can this blockade hold off the rest of the field?
Yeah, Travis just trying to find any little bit of opening that he can. Here he goes again, trying to use that outside line to his advantage. But again, just going to get boxed in here on corner exit as Burt and Thomas continue to battle, both with a little bit of a wiggle from the 3 of Ryan Lynch, and these 4 still stay side by side for another.
You're pulling away hundredths at a time.
Looked like Ryan Lynch was trying to go to the inside lane, but Burt got loose, spooked the 3, had to make him lose time and back off. And with this aggressive drive between all 4 of these drivers, it's a lap Ross Tatum, who is
inside line's yours.
20, almost 30 lap older tires than this group to stay
clear up
and maybe even grab spots as Dart sent to almost the outside wall on the entry of the corner. Very aggressive passing on the outside, sets up the move to get by Burt, now to the inside for Thomas.
All clear.
Great run there out of the corner exit. Lynch got actually into the back of Burt there, gave him a little shot, but Travis Dart used that to his advantage, got a great drive, tries to drive it off the corner exit there to clear the 11 machine. Might get it done here, but Thomas is going to hang on that top line down here in the 1 and 2. But I think Travis might have him clear, but Thomas going to send it into the 1 and 2, and he's going to get up into the outside wall.
Blocks up the brakes into the outside wall. Now side by side with his teammate again in the 11. Damage on the left, damage on the right, and has to watch these drivers that are being patient, setting up on where to go as Ryan Lynch goes the inside, taking the 9th place position, and Ross Tatum most likely going to take the 10th place position. What was looking like maybe one of the best finishes of the season for the 11 as let's go up in smoke after that one very aggressive push to the outside.
Yeah, just been really aggressive here on this run, and
still no shifting behind you. 2.5 back.
The 21 of Ross Tatum. Tatum's on those really old tires, but Tatum using that apron to his advantage, trying to get clear. They're going to continue their battle with one another for 10th and 11th position, but definitely a little bit of over-aggression there from Tyler Thomas. Might have seen him eat up his tire advantage.
Trying to speed the advantage the best that he can.
22 to go, sir.
Takes that 10th place spot, the 11. Now let's be careful because Will Bustler, Cole Sketty, and Brandon Cowley going to be getting into the mix, trying to get by for themselves. About to be 21 laps to go before this race is done. And this is around that window for the drivers that decided not to pit under our last caution, which was 20 laps ago. They're now banking on a caution flag come out to put them back into the advantage.
You were a good 10th plus better than 2nd last time. He ran the corner really high.
Will Bustler, Cole Sketty, Brady Colley, as well as Brian Wilson all banking on a caution flag to get back into this mix, if it's possible. But that's asking for a lot right now with how these drivers are running around one another.
Yeah, field's starting to get spread out, so the chances of having a caution kind of starting to dwindle down unless, we see one of those issues with cars getting loose on that outside line as the tires wear out. But you never say never. But if you are, Ross Tatum, Will Bustler, Cole Sacchetti, Brandon Colley, those guys, you definitely need that caution here in the next, 3 or 4 laps to give you enough time to get through the field once everybody makes their pit stop.
Let's discuss the pass of Ken Campbell again by the lap corners of Alex Jones and David McConnell. Those two battling for the lucky dog spot if a caution was to come out. Right now, it's Alex Jones like a modified in that lucky dog position. But for how long? Because the 44 of Curtis Valechka could be going a lap down very shortly. It's the 8 machine. Brian McCann is on that back bumper as see the drivers getting very close to one another. Alex Jones, outside. That same moment.
Inside lines all you, clear up.
Which has caused the majority of the cautions here tonight. Outside. And with less than 20 laps to go, the rest of the field is banking that was going to bring out a caution.
Yeah, I think the guys that haven't pit are hoping for the caution. The guys that have pit hoping that it goes green to the end. And I mean, just any little bit of battling could put drivers on pins and needles if there's a caution, based off of how much we've seen cars get loose off corner exit and how we've seen drivers over driving the corners this late in the race.
This is the battle that's going on for 13th position right now. In the back coming Will Bustler on the rear end, trying to figure out how to get by for 13th place. And these group drivers that are also still needing to come into pit road, well, hoping to come into pit road. So they're on 50 lap old tires and still trying to just survive the best that they can. The driver, though, that does not want a caution and feeling confident up front, Brian McCann, this 8 machine, looking for his 3rd win this season. One back at Chicagoland, then at Michigan, and hoping to then take the little bit over
increasing your gap.
Hampshire. That is
1.7 back.
Of racetracks that you can find yourself in a victory lane, proving this 8 is fast and dominant at any course we go to.
I mean, you go from a 1.5 miles to the 2 miles in Michigan to a mile flat track. I mean, what a better set of tracks to win at. And I mean, we saw it at the opener in the Clash when they were at Lucas Oil that he showed speed and potential. And over the course of the start of the season, Sam, definitely looking like one of the early favorites to potentially go up there and challenge, the likes of Zach Hall, Cameron Sarton, and those guys for a potential championship.
Absolutely. I think consistency by the 8 has been proven week in and week out, as we've had 6 races so far this season, and the 8 of Brian McCann is the only driver to have finished.
Starting to apply some pressure on the 94. They're side by side behind you.
Inside of the top 5 4 times with those 2 wins. So the 8's got the consistency down, and I think will continue forward for himself as the 8 is feeling confident up front. The part battling behind him, though, is for 12th place and as well for 2nd. This is the closest battle on track. Joshua Altus, Cameron Sarton. Sarton is finally had an opening to go down low for 2nd place. He's just been mired about 2/10 off of this 94, but the mistakes have started to mount up, and Sarton is seeing an opening.
Yeah, Sarton sees the chance to get by here. I think it's going to be a little...
Because of that battle, they're now 2+ back behind you.
We've been running a little bit quicker lap times than that of Joshua Altus. Just hasn't been able to find a way to get around him, but here gets a really good run out of turn number 2. Going to look to the inside down here in 3 and 4, but will he get it done? Looks like Altus is just going to let that 24 machine go, realizing, hey, I don't have enough to, really fight you. Maybe you can go up there and run down the 8 of McCann, but I think that's going to be a little bit too late, or too little too late for this 24 machine.
And as the 24 scoots its way forward, Andrew Medlin was hoping for a little bit more battling so that he could try to challenge instead.
13 to go. Sarton got by Altus, 2.2 back.
Place finished, or will he just let the 12 go on by and hope that 24 and the 12 will start battling and maybe get a second wind for Joshua Altus? The different thoughts and mentalities that bring out, especially late in the race with 13 laps to go. Coming to 12 to go now. It's difficult to just give up positions this late in the run.
Yeah, it's hard to give up those positions. I mean, I think you give it up to Cameron Sarton there to see maybe if he can go up there and run down McCain. And that time by, I mean, Cameron Sarton 0.2 of a second quicker than our race leader, so definitely he's got the speed. But I think if you're Joshua Altus here, you're going to hold on and try to hold on for this third position over the 12 of Andrew Medlin.
Well, last lap, 2/10 faster. As Cameron Sarton over Brian McCann. McCann did have lap traffic that's becoming a lot.
Also, starting about 2/10 faster that last lap.
For our leader, as every time he goes by a lap car, losing about a tenth or so. Seeing the difference.
Checking to see if he's shifting.
The disadvantages have been going on, and Brian McCann's been smooth. Cameron Sarton's been trying to just pull away and has been consistent there. The battle between third and fourth, though, has been switching back and forth. Sometimes it's Altus, sometimes it's Medlin, but Medlin, I think, ultimately has the better speed, and most likely will have the advantage of making this pass.
Yeah, he's shifting now.
Yeah, I think Medlin's got a little bit more speed in it, kind of similar to what we saw with Cameron Sarton, but Medlin trying to close in on this gap, going to try to take that kind of midpoint entry, arc it up high, and then try to get the better run off the corner here on Altus. As you can see here from McCann looking back, how much lap traffic he's having to deal with that's allowing the 24 of Cameron Sarton to close in. I mean, Sam, he's closed in 2/10 every lap since he's cleared that 94 of Joshua Altus, but he's got a lot of lap traffic he's got to get through to catch up to that 8, and he's quickly running out of laps.
Yeah, you got the advantage because he had to go through that traffic, and now you have traffic. So a little bit of a swing going back and forth in the
you steadied it up. Good job.
Advantage that you're dealing with. But the 101, Philip Chavez just came out of pit road, got 4 sets of tires and damage repair. And Philip Chavez is running faster than our leader and put pressure on Brian McCann. This kind of force McCann to maybe make a mistake. Is the 101 not looking confident enough to make a pass just yet, but there's the run to the inside, but still settles behind the leader.
I mean,
101's on fresher tires.
As the race leaders, to have a lap car just kind of
he's messing with me.
It's quicker than
I see that.
Playing around in your mirror. Because all it takes is one mistake from Philip Chavez. He can get into the 8 of Brian McCann, get him loose, upset the car, and
just run your line.
Laps. McCann's been about the same speed as Cameron Sarton, as the Sarton worked through that lap traffic, but the 101 could potentially throw a wrench in the State's plan.
So again, it's the center of 3 and 4. The 101 looks faster, gets a great run out there.
Just run your line. You're back up about 2 seconds over Sarton. You're pulling away again.
Just again linger behind, and this is going to be slight complications because if Philip Chavez sees an opening while the 8 is having to get by the traffic in front of him, this could be losing even more ground. But as Cameron Sarton's got fresh air, he needs to start closing in quickly with 7 laps to go. The advantage still in the 8's favor.
Yeah, still in the 8's favor, almost back up to 2 seconds between those guys. But I mean, more lap traffic that he's got to get through.
You're consistently faster than Sarton now.
Potentially open up the door for the 101. Chavez just looks
101 outside. He's got nothing on your exit. You're doing great.
There is that, like you said, that opening. Philip Chavez could take it, and that could really close in that gap. But looks like it's starting to steady out, and McCann getting through
back to 2 seconds over Sarton.
This in his last 6 laps.
Lap cars just have been very gentle and kind, getting out of the way, not forcing any issue on our leader. And
door to door.
That has been helping Brian McCann to keep the gap where it's been at. It's been a 1.7 to 1.8.
Man, that's a good thing I hit that brake early there. I hit it even earlier.
Difficult bad exits, but really it's
still didn't about make it.
The gap's big enough. With 5 laps to go, there's just too much.
You're absolutely doing great.
Between Brian McCann
5 to go, sir.
Back to Cameron Sarton. I mean, you could say the momentum has still continued on. This has been a great couple of weeks for the 24 machine. And a second place finish looks to be in the wings for that of Sarton. 5 laps to go. About to be 2. It's McCann in his mirror. It's not looking safe in front of him. He's hoping lap cars just get out of the way. And the 8 just continues to motor his way forward.
Continues to pick off the lap traffic. Continues to kind of hold that gap back to Cameron Sarton. I mean, it kind of seesaws back and forth, and a couple, McCann will be quicker a couple laps, and Sarton will be quicker a couple laps, but overall the lap traffic just kind of equals it out.
There's a great exit.
Mistake here from McCann, or potentially a late race caution. This should be his race to win.
I've been trying to bring out the confidence curves for most of this race. It hasn't really struck yet. We'll see.
3 to go.
Power, but 3 laps to go.
You got this, Brian.
Still with the lead. And it's been equal distance for the last 3 to 4 laps now. And McCann just having a couple of more lap cars to get by.
Clear up.
If David McConnell And then surprisingly, it's Zach Hall, but these drivers all have been caught up in wrecks all throughout tonight. To the
coming to 2.
Easy pass, about to be 2 laps to go.
Almost 2 seconds back, no pressure.
As Phillips
run your line.
He's testing out different grooves now with 2 laps to go.
Chavez down there on the apron trying something new. I just saw Cameron Sarton as well on the apron trying to see what he could do down there. Closed in a little bit that lap, but I mean, just going to be
6 more corners, sir.
Too late for that 24 machine. 2 laps to go, Sam, unless there's a caution here, in the next 10, 15 seconds. It looks like it's going to all for the 8 machine to get his 3rd win of the season.
It's looking clean for the 8 of Brian McCann.
1 more mile, sir, and the lobster's all yours.
Don't celebrate early, right?
Looks up stand, sees the white flag, making this race official.
I get you.
Level racing white flag, and this race is
1.7 back to start, and 32's giving you the line.
Consistent all night long has been the 8 machine up front, leading the way. When he has the lead and he doesn't worry about anyone else, see Zach Hall duck it down low and
stage and winner.
Brian McCann down into turn.
Good job, man. Thank you for the info.
Brian. Congratulations.
3rd.
Thank you.
This rookie has been on a tear. We saw it at the Clash. The potential was high. He is not disappointed. Today. The top 10.
I was so worried.
And win number.
And then turned out to be all right.
Buck kicker 175.
Man, he was the fastest car all night long. Absolutely dominated this race when he was out front. Got through the traffic cleanly when he needed to, Sam, and I mean, just absolutely walked away with it.
Yeah, the fastest lap by 1/10.5 over the field, man.
Great run.
Nobody had anything for you.
Dang.
For 3rd place, Medlin in 4th, and Ken Campbell able to get up into 5th.
The race is over.
I mean, John Dart also played that 6th place position. The Dart
ran a 31 flat.
7. This is a great run for a lot of drivers. As Brian McCann got his driver cam up, and he gets to have some fun burning it down here at the New Hampshire Buck Kicker 175 and having fun.
We're going with the right side burnout this time.
It's a joy when you're in victory lap.
Last night was left.
Already feeling to get to burn it down at the end of the day. You had a dominant car, you get the win. That's the best feeling I think of all. And McCann getting to celebrate here for the 3rd time this year.
1 back in Chicagoland for week number 2, 1 at Michigan in week 4. A couple of more extra weeks to win week 7 for the 8 machine. 3 wins. Driver so far.
Pop goes the weasel.
7. Congratulations to Brian McCann. We'll be going to our post-race show here very
Repeat
shortly.
1975, right?
Top 3. Brian
yes,
McCann,
sir.
Cameron Sarton, Joshua Altus, and a spotlight driver right after this.
Hell yeah, dude.
Looking pretty good for the playoffs here.
You knew it in practice that you were pretty bad fast.
I was worried though because I just thought I was killing tires, but turns out no.
Faith, my Padawan learner. Faith.
Looking to see where I gotta go. Oh, here we go. All right, man. They want me to jump up in the waiting room early, so have a good one. And as always, thank you.
Absolutely welcome, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, take it easy.
Bye.
A good win there, Brian.
Thank you. Good race.
I tried my best to stay with you on those starts, man. You were just on a rail.
Yeah, I love this track.
Hey, good run there, Cam.
Yes, sir. That was fun.
Yeah, good race. You was kind of catching me a little bit there, Cam.
Oh, I was full sending right when I got around Josh. I was absolutely sending it. I was like, oh, I almost wrecked about 5 times.
I had a decision to make because I was like, I saw you catching me, and I'm like, I could just let them go, and then maybe they'll get to racing, and something will happen. So I tried to fight you off as much as I could, and then it just got to a point where I'm like, all right, go Cam, go get him.
Yeah, I don't think I had a shot at him anyway. You're fast from the get go, Brian. Were you shifting every lap?
No, probably about after lap 20 or so. Whenever it felt like it was bogging down, I started shifting.
Were you just doing it in 3 and 4 or everywhere?
Everywhere.
Okay. I stayed in 4th the whole time. I didn't know how I don't know. I should have maybe tried downshift and see what it did, but
Yeah, I saw a couple of them like last minute and
post-race show
practice
on Freaky Fast in this 8 machine. Once he got the lead, never looked back. Brian, we got you on your camera. Congratulations on your 3rd win of the season. Man, how are you feeling after this one? Because this looked like the most dominant one so far.
Oh, I was a little worried at first because I wasn't sure about it. I love this track and I love racing it, and I got quite a few laps here, but I know there's a lot of good drivers here. And I know Cameron, he beat me at one of the other flat tracks that we were running, so I was a little worried there, and a lot of strong competition, but I don't know, I just wheeled it right tonight. So luckily there at the end, if a caution came out, I was going to be in some trouble with some fresh tires coming up behind me, but luckily that caution didn't come out. So
I mean, Brian, we saw you, the tire strategy made this race really interesting when you got shuffled kind of to the mid pack there, about 10th or 11th. I mean, what was it like getting up through the field there? We saw you go to the outside, or 3 wide, the middle, sometimes the bottom, just to get through traffic. I mean, how important was it to get up through that traffic as quickly as you could?
it was really important. That's why I was pushing so hard, because I noticed everybody behind me was doing the same. And the way these walls are set up here, whenever there's an accident, it's kind of like Bristol, you know, cars is bouncing off of walls. So I don't want to be in a big pack of cars. So as quickly as I can get through there, and, you know, I took any hole I saw. So that's why I was doing that. And luckily, you know, there was no contact. And everybody drove amazing that I drove around tonight.
It was incredible to watch you slice and dice your way through the field to get to that lead position. And Brian, congratulations on this win. And before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my wife and family, you guys for doing the broadcast, the league admins for putting this show on, the drivers, big shout out to the drivers, amazing group of guys out here, and the sponsors that help us put this show on. Thank you. Oh, sorry, one more. Repeat 1975, my spotters. Almost forgot to call them out. Amazing net from the whole race. Thank you.
You always got to shout out the spotter. Congratulations, Brian, on your third win this season. Enjoy it, and good luck next week as we head to Spa. As we go from victory lane, we head.
Ooh, I guess I can go back and look at some of those. Dang, I don't even know what lap that was. I think we pitted. Can't remember if there was any 3 wide here or not. Yeah, luckily I know Spa. I'm not great at it, but at least I know it. Kevin, that's his favorite track, one of his favorite road tracks, and he gets out there and just demolishes me. But I know there's, or at least I've heard there's some good road drivers in here. So we'll have to see. Yeah, that'll be our first road race. Oh, yeah, this is the first time I shot up through the field. Right there, I was debating because I knew I had so much more grip, and there was like a hole there. So I was like, well, that 24 is wanting to come up too. Look at him. Good thing I went. So he went to the bottom. That must be scary being those other drivers, because the speed difference here is ridiculous. Yeah, man, take it easy. What else? I think here I was the leader for position 3. A lot of cautions, but I don't think I dropped back. I think I was the leader. Yeah, and then this is where I pitted and a lot of people stayed out, so I took it easy right there because I didn't know. I noticed there was nobody behind me, so I was like, I'm just gonna, in case somebody washes up right here, eye everybody out and come up with a plan. And I was wanting to get to the low side of 39 here, but I wasn't quite there. Yeah, then oh. I bet that's, let's go back on board with this 94. So there's, I don't know if there's 3 wide here, but 2 wide. He can't even see me. And I just come out of nowhere. I was a little worried about Will there because, you know, he had that outside, which was real nice on these starts.
Some work I had to do with my job, and thankfully things worked out that I could still race. So, yeah, solid night overall. Just really hoping to try to get that first win here.
I mean, Josh, looking back through this race, I mean, the pit strategy seemed like it was really important tonight to get up to the front of the field and hang on. I mean, how
stayed 3 wide for a long time here
at the right time and making those calls.
Yeah, exactly, Trevor. I mean, it's vital with these cars, and specifically this track is just so hard to pass. And I've got to start qualifying better, guys. Like I am not going to be a contender until I can, you know, put a hot lap down in qualifying and start up front, because it takes me, it feels like half the race just to strategize, like you're saying, and just to get in position. So yeah, thankfully we took tires there when the caution came out. I think it was about 10 laps before the stage, and I think we only had about 7 green flag laps on it. So I was actually pretty surprised that a lot of people pitted again at the stage. So we were able to kind of get our track position at that point and really see what we had. But yeah, it was just, I had the broadcast on in the background and I could see all the carnage happening, and I was just thankful I wasn't back there.
Certainly was very.
I looked in my mirror and I saw 24.
Josh and the strategy working.
I thought I saw the 53
before we let you go.
coming up the track.
Yeah.
And then the 24, I saw him go low to make it 3 wide.
Shout out to Robert. And
so I jerked up.
Some family things to deal with last week, so we're thinking, praying for him as always, as part of the Freaky Fast family. Thank you guys, Sam and Trevor, for always delivering such an awesome broadcast. It's so fun to go back and watch these teams, man. I know how much hard.
Good thing the 2 stayed low. Ooh, I hit the 77.
I've been really thankful to be able to come up in the booth and call some of the races on Wednesdays.
I thought that 2 was washing up. I was mirror driving that.
Shout out to Lights Out. I've got a Gen 4.
It's a good thing I didn't wreck him, but
run on Sundays.
He's watching. I'm sorry, I didn't.
To continue to grow.
That was definitely my bad there.
To be the old S&B Cup series, so trying to get some more attendance over there. So there's a lot of good racers.
Yeah, because
so if anyone's interested,
I went on at 1 and then changed my line midway, and that probably messed them up.
Solar, if anyone in the Virginia area is interested in saving a lot of money.
I was just so worried about the 2.
Prices are going up quite a bit right now, so hit me up. I'll be happy to talk you through how solar works and how you can save a lot of money with solar. And shout out to my teammates Robert Sherwood and
And then from there, it was green.
I feel terrible for those guys, man. It's just there's so many people in here, and when you have a lot of cars in the field, it's easy to get caught up in someone else's mess. And I just feel like those guys can't catch a break. So I'm hoping eventually they can get some good finishes that they deserve and show their speeds for S&B Motorsports. So, but yeah, overall a solid night. We'll take a P3 and move on next week.
A good one for yourself, Josh. Congratulations and good luck at Spa next week.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, that's going to be your third place finisher of Joshua Altus coming away in third place. Hoping for that consistency to carry forward. Now we go to our spotlight driver, 8th place finisher, best finish so far this season, and that's Ryan Lynch. Ryan, we watched your qualifying run. You qualified 21st, and then the night started. You had to avoid some big wrecks. You make the march forward. Man, how are you feeling coming away with the top 10 finish at the end of the day?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It was a good run. Finally feel like I, was able to have a clean race, and decided to kind of go against the grain and stay out a few times, and that I think allowed me to dodge the big wrecks and stay clear.
94 was wanting to go there,
and that was there. So overall, it was a really good night. It was, able to kind of steal some stage points by staying out, and then kind of upset that we didn't get a caution with like 20 to go. I would have been in business then, but it was a good night.
Damn, he drifted in.
What was it like out there trying to make passes throughout the course of the night? Even with the different tire strategies, we still saw that it was difficult to get passes done. And if you got battling side by side too much, the guys on the older tires could keep up. But I mean, what was your experience throughout the course of the race?
Yeah, I think if the tires were similar, it was tough. You could get around guys on the top if you had slightly better tires, but yeah, I think the only way to really pass someone that was on equal stuff was to kind of dive it around them and hope they get loose underneath you and you can get a run up top. It really track position played a big role, and it really just kind of turned into.
I'm probably pretty late. I don't even know what time it is.
I
it's almost midnight.
The side by side.
I'm out later.
But yeah.